Hello, everybody. We're waiting for people to check in here with us. We're live from March Madness here. What would the day be if we didn't have a little bit of technical difficulties here early on? But, we're going. Somebody throw some comments in the chat so I know you guys are getting me. We've got the screen up here that's got the March Madness scoreboard up. I cannot show the games to y'all because that would get us in trouble and we get kicked off YouTube. So you'll have me in the corner. You'll have the scoreboard up here. We've only got one game going so far. It's Ohio State and TCU. Ohio State and TCU are tied. Players to watch in this game, NBA prospects to watch, are Junie or John Mobley Jr. and Bruce Thornton from Ohio State, as well as David Punch from TCU. David Punch is the one at the free throw line right now, shooting a couple free throws. So jump in here. Guys, we don't have to keep it to just March Madness. You can ask your NBA questions as well. We'll talk anything basketball that you guys want to get into as well. I'm going to be here with you, planning to be here all day into the wee hours of Friday morning. We'll see. Just letting you guys know how this is going to break down today. I will be taking the occasional break to go run to the restroom, get water, and all those things there. And then if things align and we have a little bit of a break in between the early sessions of the day, the afternoon sessions and the evening sessions, I will take a break to go eat dinner. At that point, we'll come right back to you. We'll just leave the stream up, and you'll have the scoreboard up to watch with that. But again, if you're just joining in now, I cannot show the games live here because it's not allowed. So we're going to be watching. This is kind of like a watch along. We're just going to hang out. We're going to chat. We're going to talk ball. We're going to get into whatever. Hopefully we get some really fun, interesting games and buzzer beaters and the like. You guys ask your questions or your comments in the chat, and we'll get into everything. Throughout the course of the day, both NCAA and NCAA tournament, draft stuff, prospect wise. Hoping maybe Trevor will jump on and join a little bit later today, and be able to, hang out with us for a little bit. I know he's got some stuff going on, and then, and then NBA questions and the like. So get your stuff in there. Super chats always appreciated, not necessary, but always appreciated if you guys want to go that route. And I've got it set up on my TV. You'll see me glancing off this way, where I can watch all the games at once. I have it set up where I can pull up. So once we get into 4 games going on at a time, we'll have them all going on here. Right now, it's just Ohio State and TCU. That's the one that is just tipped off here. It's about 4 minutes in. We're to almost our first TV timeout. TCU up 6-5. I'm going to get a box score pulled up on my second screen over here just so we have it pulled up so we can follow along with what's going on in this, and then I'll start getting into some of your questions and the like. You guys throw in whatever you guys want to toss in the chat there, and we'll we're gonna have some fun here. It's the first time we've done this, so hang with me. I'm gonna figure it out as we go, but we're gonna have a little bit of fun here today, watching March Madness together and getting into it. All right, let's do some questions here. Let's see. Is Bruce Thornton an NBA prospect? Yeah, Sean. Second round, maybe he could play himself in a second round consideration, but probably more of a undrafted guy, summer league guy, maybe a 2-way contract. There, he's a little bit older. I believe. Let me double check. I know he's a senior, so he's already 23 or almost 23. So he's 22. So he'll be 23 when the season starts. It's a little bit older for a prospect, but he's going to be, he's definitely somebody that I know NBA teams have some interest in. He's shown up on a lot of top 100 lists. So he's an interesting player. Luca asks, we'll be doing this throughout March Madness, at least today and maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll start off with kind of a combo of watch along plus our regular Front Office Friday show. So we'll have some fun with that. Also there. Does Utah State have a chance to make a run at all? Maybe. I think their challenge is they are believe it's a 9 seed in this. So for them to make a run, they would have to win their second round game against the 1 seed. I'm just going to get the bracket pulled up as well. So if we want to flip over to that, we'll have it. Um, but that's going to be their challenge, right? Is if they're going to make a run. I do think they can beat Villanova in the first round. Utah State, they much like usual. They tend to trend as an older team. For those who don't know, a lot of their players go and do Mormon missions and then come back. But they'd have to beat Arizona in the second round, and that's a big ask. So I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Yeah, Cade Cunningham is out. If you guys missed that NBA wise, he is going to be out for a while here, at least a couple of weeks. He's got a collapsed lung. That happened. I don't know if it happened in game or when it happened, but on Tuesday night, 2 nights ago against the Wizards, he only played about 5 minutes and had to come out. And they called it back spasms, which a lot of times, if you've ever been unfortunate enough to have a collapsed lung, and then the people I know who have had collapsed lungs, they say all the time that like it can be really tough. And it does feel a little bit like a back spasm when you're trying to take those deep breaths. You don't feel like you can get there. So that is where that kind of is at with Cade. So he out with a collapsed lung, and we'll see what how long that takes. It's kind of all over the board. Some guys have come back in 2 weeks. Some guys have been out for 3 or 4 weeks. So we'll see, where that goes. In the recovery time for Cade Cunningham, we do hope obviously that he'll be back before the playoffs. But we're getting down to it. We've got less than 4 weeks to go now in the season. So we're in a spot where it's going to have to get back here pretty quickly to be back before the playoffs. So CJ, we'll see, what happens with that, and then CJ McCollum had one. He was able to come back and obviously was okay. So we'll see, but we're hopeful. Cade's on the front end of the recovery timeline with that. Let's see. Do I think the Rockets are done for? Seem to not be able to get into offense late without a point guard. What do you think about a series with them and the Lakers? Well, if it goes the way the last couple went, they'll be in the games, but the Lakers just execute a lot better at the end of those games. They have a lot more things they can go to. You've got Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves, and the Lakers do run stuff, and they don't really. The Rockets don't run a lot. They're not a great team in that respect. So that's definitely a challenge for them. And you're right, they don't have a point guard who can make things easier. I thought last night was a little better at the end of the game, but still wasn't good enough. So they're done for. Tough to say. Very, very matchup dependent. I would say the Nuggets are starting to drift into that same boat. That was a really bad loss for them last night against the Grizzlies. So we'll see with this. We're back to action. By the way, game is on CBS. Again, the players we're kind of keeping an eye on, the most common mentioned NBA players, Mobley and Thornton for Ohio State, and then Punch, not Punch the monkey, but Punch the basketball player for TCU. He's number 15. He's the big guy. He's got the ball right now, driving, good score in the middle of the paint. He's a good player. Punch is. I don't know exactly where he'll land out, if he'll end up being the kind of guy we see in the NBA or not, but he is he's a good player, and he's an underclassman, so still has eligibility left to go with that. Mobley, if you guys are wondering, he's 0, and Thornton's number 2 on Ohio State. They're 2 guards there. What are your thoughts for this from Luka on the general discourse about Acuff? What kind of player do you think he'll be in the NBA? I love him. He's been one of my favorite prospects in this entire draft. I'm a big fan. I think he has a chance to be a very good, NBA player. I think right away too. He can be pretty good. Point guards always take a little bit of time, but I'm a big fan of Darius Acuff. He's small, but he's not like tiny. He's not like 6 feet. Like I think he is a legit 6'2" or 6'3". So really tough player, though. He can finish around the rim. Good driver, good shooter, really good playmaker as well. He's kind of just more of your all around good point guard. He's fairly competitive on defense. As far as guys against his size, he can be a little overwhelmed by bigger players, but I think he's really good. So I'm very excited for him as well. To see what happens with him. Nice little handoff play there for TCU. They're up 10-7 early. Here we got at least on my screen, we got about 13 minutes to go in the first half. So we're underway with March Madness. Two of my favorite days of the calendar year here. Today and tomorrow with these first round games. We got basketball all day long. It's going to be a lot of fun. Glad we're hanging out and doing this here today. Let's see. Who is your Cinderella story pick? It's funny. As I was going through the brackets, I didn't no one jumped out for me as this team. I think will make a really long run. Especially not like a double-digit seed. I think they did a really good job balancing out the brackets. But I will say this: whenever I had that feeling in the past, it has turned out to be a tournament that ends up full of upsets and teams do go on runs. So lower seeded teams to keep an eye on. I'll only go with double-digit seeds here. Keep an eye on South Florida. Louisville's not going to have Mikal Brown in their first round matchup. That's going to be tough for them. That's a game that tips off a little bit later this afternoon. So, but in this first window of games, so that's going to be tough on them. South Florida can play. UCF is tough. They're a 10 seed, so we'll see. Texas wasn't super impressed with their win over NC State. BYU, that's going to be a tough matchup. People really are locked in on college basketball. Told me to keep an eye on Akron as a potential team that could do it. We always see 12 seeds tend to pull, at least one of them pulls an upset at some point in the first round. So that was a team that was mentioned to me. I think that, once you get below the 12 seeds, I think those teams are going to have trouble pulling off any kind of wins. High Point, I've also heard as well. But with that. Braden Burries hasn't played yet. UConn plays, let's see, tomorrow. Late, you got a ways to go. 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So we'll see. But I'm sorry, Braden Burries from sorry, I went with the wrong guy. You went with I'm thinking of I get the two of their names confused. You're talking the Arizona guy. That's my bad there. Yeah, I like him a lot. Who's the UConn kid I'm thinking of? Well, where is it? UConn plays late. Braylon Mullins. I don't know why I can't keep those two mixed up. Braylon Mullins plays in a while. Braden Burries, yeah, he's a good player. He's just another in a long line of solid wings that get after it on both ends of the floor. I really like him. I think he has a chance to be, a big time player. He's probably the player I'm highest on of that entire Arizona group, and they've got a lot of good players. Where things get a little sideways is he doesn't always get the ball a lot, so that can be kind of tough for him at times with that. So let's see. We'll do an NBA question. Celtics favorites in the East with Tatum back. I would still lean Pistons, but I think Celtics, Knicks, Cavs are right there. I think any one of them can win it if they really get after it. So I think the playoffs, both conferences are going to be awesome because I think we have a lot of really good teams this year across the NBA with that. Mobley, probably undrafted, but we'll see. He's also a younger player. I think he'll go back to school. I don't think you'll actually see him in the draft. So probably undrafted at this point, but maybe he can play himself in there. Who did I pick to win in my bracket? I picked Houston in our official front office show fans bracket. Hope you're all able to jump in there. The bracket group is now locked at tip-off of this Ohio State TCU game, just so nobody was sneaking in brackets late there. But I picked Houston. I think the way they defend, they've got really good talent. They can put enough points on the board. They're good size up front. They have good guards. So I picked Houston to win it all. But that's just, it's brackets. You don't go too crazy with any of that if nobody's there. Let's see here. Krivas in the first round, yeah, I think he has a chance. There's a little bit of defensively, some Ryan Kalkbrenner in there with him. So Kalkbrenner did really well, or has done really well for the Hornets in his rookie season. And Krivas is good player. I don't know that he's the same. Kalkbrenner showed a really pretty good, diverse offensive game throughout the course of his time at Creighton. I don't know that Krivas has quite that same versatility. Kalkbrenner was shooting threes by the end of his time at Creighton. He hasn't done that in the NBA, most because the Hornets have said just get to the rim, like that's what we want out of you as a rookie. They're trying to keep it very easy with that. So, we'll see, where it goes. But yeah, I think Krivas has a chance. If not first round, early second round, probably on one of those second round pick exception deals, where it's not a two-way or anything like that for him. I think he has a real shot. Illinois versus Penn. If Illinois can use their athleticism, yeah, they'll roll over Penn. What happens to the Ivy League schools when they get in there and a lot of the other smaller schools is if they can hang on and keep the game close, they have a chance because often they execute at a high level, they make shots. But if the other team can really lock them up and play really good defense, it can be really hard on those guys there. We already talked about Cade Cunningham in Detroit. I'm sure we'll talk about it again a little bit later. Just a bummer that he's out, and really a big loss for the Pistons for sure. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Any prospect that projects better in the NBA than their college performance, someone who doesn't really fit in their coach's system or doesn't have teammates that optimize their abilities. Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, I'm just pulling up my big board for guys who might kind of fit that. I would say maybe Braylon Mullins from UConn. I think UConn just has a lot of guys. So a lot of guys who play, a lot of guys who need the ball a lot. And I think Mullins just hasn't been a super great fit there from that standpoint. Just a lot of guys that he's got to share the ball with. So he may stand out. I think Koa Pete would have done more offensively on a team that wasn't quite as loaded as Arizona is. But he shows up defensively and on the glass. His offense has been little hit or miss. Just kind of running through them. Guys not in the tournament. Maybe Hannes Steinbach of Washington. He's not in the tournament. In part because Washington, he's a big guy, he's a center. Washington couldn't get him the ball, always in great spots. He still did well, but the Washington guards were a little bit rough on that case. So that's there. And Tahad Pettiford, he's at Auburn, another guy not in the tournament. Played really well at times, but was kind of on an island and by himself. Regularly with that Auburn team. Late first round picks to watch. Let's see, guys in the tournament. I like Braden Smith quite a bit. I think he can really play. So he is someone that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Here, that guy's on the wrong spot. Let me get him moved. Sorry, I'm looking at my big board and just realized I had somebody in the wrong place. I would keep an eye on Alex Condon at UF. I think he is a really good player who can really play. I think you want to keep an eye on, let's see, Tyler Tanner at Vanderbilt. He's very small. He's only 6 feet tall, but he is pretty good. So he's another guy. Isaiah Evans at Duke. He's playing a much bigger role right now with Duke's got a bunch of guys out with injuries. So he's having a chance to maybe improve his draft stock. Joshua Jefferson, Iowa State, is another guy. Zuby Ejiofor potentially could play himself into the first round at St. John's. JoJo Tugler at Houston is a player that teams have liked at various times. Where do I fall on tanking? Love the NBA, but what a difference. Celtics Wizards, Celtics Suns games. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. It's been this way. This is not a new thing. I mean, obviously the two-way players is a different thing that we haven't seen, but as far as teams playing two-way guys, it's like this is just kind of how it is. I mean, they're playing rookies and all that stuff when they're tanking. It like that's just how it goes. You know, when your motivations are better to lose than win, that's what it is, and that's what the NBA is looking to change. All right, I had to get my quad box going here because we've got our second game of the day getting ready to tip off. We've got Troy and Nebraska tipping off. Nebraska's got some guys, so we'll get into that now here. Let's see. Let's get over there. Nebraska, three guys to keep an eye on. Price Sandfort is their best player. He's probably their best prospect. He's been someone who's been mentioned in the middle of the second round, potentially for Nebraska. They have guys, I apologize if I say any of these names wrong. I wasn't able to get pronunciation guides for every player that's in the tournament, but Rink Mast, big guy, he's their center. He's had at moments, he's had some draft buzz around him. And then the player to watch for Troy is going to be Thomas Dowd. He's forward. He's number one. He is a tough player for Troy. He had a really nice run, and he's gonna be pretty good. It's all good, Mr. TD. It's more tanky. I get it, right? People don't like the tanking, but kind of is what it is, right? It's just I don't get too bent out of shape over it because it's every team has done it at some point in their history, and in the teams that try and play it off as if they've never tanked. Like, come on, yes, they all have at some point. But it kind of is what it is. It's that's what the system rewards. We'll see what the new systems they come up with do. So again, we've got now two games going on. We've got TCU is up on Ohio State 17-13, about midway through the first half, and then you got Troy and Nebraska just getting started. In our next game, somebody is I think it was Dowd was down for Troy. That would be a big loss if he was hurt. He took one in a sensitive place. Well, we'll just say won't be he took took it where it doesn't feel good to take a hit. So it looks like he's okay staying in the game. So yeah, that's had some people say that could be a potential big upset to watch here in the first round. General rules on upsets: don't crow if you picked a 9 over an 8, certainly. Don't even crow if you picked a 10 over a 7. 11 over a 6, maybe. 12, 13, 14, or if you pick a 16, 15, or 16 and they win, yeah, I mean, go nuts with that. So, we'll see, how that all kind of comes together here with that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun here. And Troy's up early, up 3-0. Early lead for them over Nebraska. So, but we're only about a minute in there. So, and again, guys, we can do anything, any basketball questions you want. We can do tourney questions, draft questions. I'll do my best to answer those to the best of my ability. We'll get into NBA stuff if you guys want to get into that. Whatever you guys want to get into today, we're just gonna hang out and watch tournament and talk ball together. Again, if you're just joining, I can't show the games live, so that's why we have the NCAA scoreboard up, which is showing you which games are in progress already. TCU, Ohio State, Troy, and Nebraska. But I can't show the games live. We would get in trouble. We'd get booted off of YouTube. So, so we're just gonna do a watch along. You can find on my social media, Twitter and Blue Sky, pinned at the top of my profile is my NBA fans viewing guide to the NCAA tournament. It's got all of the players you need to know on every team. So all 64 teams. And you could kind of get into all all the guys you want to know. So if you're watching mostly for, geez, I only really care about NBA prospects. We got at least one guy from every team. We got over 170 total players. Well, we had over 170. A handful have already been eliminated in the first round games, but we're probably still around 160 plus total players there for the 64 teams that advanced to the main field of the bracket. Yeah, I think St. John's is going to make a run. I like that team. I think Rick Pitino has done a really good job with basically saying, all right, these are the rules now with transfers and figuring all these guys out. And I think he's done a really good job with, I'm going to go get my guys, whether I recruit them or I recruit them through transfers, and I'll put together a team that's going to play hard and they'll be scrappy. And I think St. John's has a real chance to make a real run. And it's fun when St. John's is good. Now, maybe that's just because St. John's was always good when I was a kid. So it's a little bit of a throwback. But yeah, that's a good time with that. Also from Robert, I remember when Rick Pitino coached Providence College before he went to the Celtics. Well, long time when he coached Providence before he went to the Celtics, because there was Providence, then the Knicks, then he went to Kentucky, and then the Celtics. So, but yeah, that Providence College run, Rick Pitino, star player on that Providence team, Billy Donovan, coach of the Bulls. So just if anybody didn't know on that one, Providence went to the Final Four with Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan are running the show. How are you feeling about the baseball type schedules for the NBA, like the Lakers Rockets had? I like it because it cuts down on travel. What I don't like is when a team plays another team all condensed. So, like, if you play a baseball series and then like a week or two later you play another game against that team, and I really don't like when it's like and I'm not saying this is the case, but Rockets Lakers regular season series is done by like mid-December, because I don't feel like you get a real good sense of how those teams actually match up. I like it when it's spread out a little bit more and that. So, but yeah, I don't want it to be too much of condensed and all that stuff. So it's, but I like it because it does reduce travel for the teams, and I think you get a little bit better of a product out of it that way. Trying to stay off soda, but I had to go with a soda. It's going to be a long day today. So, but I've got plenty of water and stuff loaded up. Again, if you're just joining us here today, we're going to just be talking ball, watching the tournament, hanging out together. We'll be talking about the various tournament prospects, who's playing well in these games and the like, and just kind of hanging out where it's, we're just going to have a lot of fun today watching the NCAA tournament together. We'll go as long as I can kind of hold out. If we do get to a point where there's only one or two games going on and there's not much happening, I may step away for a little bit just to conserve my energy and my voice here. But otherwise, we're going to be here. If we do, I'll leave the stream up with the scoreboard up. If it's live, you guys will be there. We'll still have our live Front Office Friday show like we do every Friday tomorrow. Probably be a little bit of an overlap with the start of the games when we do that. So we'll have a good time with that as well. We're going to be taking questions throughout the day. We'll be taking periodic breaks if I need to, to get up and run to the restroom or get water or whatever. But it's, we're just going to hang out, watch tournament together now, have some fun. So it'll be a good time with this. Best Thursday of the calendar year. Yeah, I tend to agree. These are two of my most favorite days of the year. So this will be an absolute blast, with this stuff. So it's, I mean, we love the tournament. So, it's a great couple of days, especially these early days with the upsets and everything else. It's very funny. My opinion on that has changed. I used to be upsets. As long as it wasn't a team I was actively rooting for, I wanted all the upsets possible. And don't get me wrong, I still love upsets. We get caught up in it if there's a major one brewing. But now it's like, I knocked out that guy. I wanted to get more film on. I wanted to see play a handful more games. That's where it gets a little bit tough with that. So we don't want too many upsets in there. Mr. TD, who is my number one pick? Is it still up in the air, team dependent? Well, it's always team dependent. So that's the difference between, this is a great opportunity to discuss this a little bit. Difference between a big board and a mock draft. A big board is take out all the teams. We have no idea who's drafting. So a big board, I think, is really valuable right now today because it is, these are the guys in the order I really like them. And on my big board, it's AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson, and Cam Boozer. All great players, all could be the number one pick. The mock draft is, who do I think these teams will pick? And in general, in the NBA, you draft talent over need or fit because just you get the most talent and you try to make it work. But there are occasionally times where if you had just drafted your center of the future the year before, you're not necessarily going to double down with another center if they can't play together. So that could be a case there. Now, in this year's draft, DeBonsa's a wing, can play with anybody, should be fine. Cam Boozer, pure forward, can play either forward spot. I think he'll be basically a 4 at the NBA level. Maybe a 3 if he handles it a bit better and increases his range a little bit more consistently, but which I think will come, but pure forward. And then Peterson is a guard. He's, play either guard position. Some teams see him a little bit more on ball as like a primary creator, facilitator, and scorer. And then others are, he's more of an off ball guy who's going to need to play with a bit more of a pure point guard. So I think that'll factor in a little bit there, but I think those 3 guys, I think you would pick talent over need with those guys. What's my review of UCLA this season? Good, but not great. They're an interesting team. They've got a handful of interesting players. I'm personally rooting for UCF tonight. That's the local school here in Orlando, so I'll be all over UCF tonight. But they've got some guys. Xavier Booker's interesting. Donovan Dent is a fun older player in this draft class, so that's a guy who is somebody to kind of keep an eye on there. They've had some injuries there, so I think they've got a real chance with that. So there's I think it'll be interesting that whoever wins that game gets UConn in the second round, barring a major upset from UConn to Furman. So their stay in the tournament may be short, but we'll see with this. Let's see here. Yeah, no Wemby, no LeBron. There's no guaranteed number one pick. But what's great is DeBonsa, Boozer, and Peterson could all be the number one pick and would be worthy number one pick. So it's not like there's this is who it is, generational type talent. Those guys are all going to be really good. If you ask most NBA teams right now, they would tell you DeBonsa, Peterson, and Boozer are very likely to make long runs, like have long careers and all-star level, all NBA level type players. I think they're going to be really, really good. Yeah, I don't worry about Boozer's athleticism at all. I think he'll be fine. I think he is really solid. I think he out of him, DeBonsa and Peterson, I think he has the highest floor. Like, I feel confident you draft Cam Boozer, you're going to get a 10-year player that's going to give you really solid production, rotational level. It reminds me a little bit of a better version of PJ Washington. And PJ Washington's been a really good NBA player for a long time. So that's where I think Boozer will fall out and land in. Yeah, Dallas, there's a ton of point guards you listed off, a whole bunch of them with Akoff and Flemings and Wagler and Brown and Philon. Yeah, I think it's Akoff is the best guy out of that group. And I think him and Kyrie would be a little weird together at first, but I think you sort that out with Kyrie's probably not going to be there forever. And if you told me I had Akoff and Flag as my duo moving forward, I'd be pretty happy with that. This is a really this is a great draft class if you need a point guard. It also leads me to something else. I've been kind of wondering, I've been talking to some people, maybe one of those guys after we get clear of the tournament and we get in a little deeper, if one of those guys looks at it and says, you know what, I may go back to school because why am I going to hang out here for too long with that? So so we'll kind of see. Is Cam Boozer like his dad? His dad's Carlos Boozer also has a twin brother who's on the team, and Caden, who's been playing a lot better recently with that. So but is he how do I put it? Is he like his dad? He's like a more skilled version of his dad. His dad was just like the bruising power forward type. Not that he didn't have skill, because he certainly did, but his dad was just a pure four, gonna bang inside. I'm gonna get rebounds. I'm gonna hit the glass. I'm gonna do a lot of screen and roll and quite stuff like that and all that. And then they kind of go from there. So yeah. And then with Cam Boozer, he's a lot more skilled. He can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot from the outside. He can do different stuff. So he's like his dad in some ways, but I think he's a lot more skilled version of his father. Yeah, if you have a top 10 pick, you should come away with a really good. I mean, this is a deep draft class, and that's a good thing because it's not an overly deep draft class over the next couple of years. With that. All right, our buddy Pikachu here is in UCLA and USC, part of the Pac-12. Why are they in the Big Ten? Yeah, not for years now. The big Pac-12 broke up. Arizona and Arizona State are in the Big 12 with Colorado's in there. Stanford and Cal are in the ACC. Yeah, college conferences don't believe anything regional at all, so I doubt it. With that. Let's see. Do I believe there's anything to smoke about Bonsa staying at BYU? He's not going to make more money in college than the NBA. There's no chance. He is reportedly making anywhere between 3 and 5 million in NIL money. Even if he's the third pick somehow, that's $10 million in year one. Yeah, and I know he came out and said, hey, maybe I stay here, at BYU, and talked about loving college. Cooper Flagg said the same stuff. Every college player says the same thing. They don't want to be, jerks to the kids they will see on campus and go to class with and stuff like that. So I don't think, I don't buy it when players who are projected to be potentially the number one overall pick talk about staying in college. It's just not something I think is going to happen. All right, so checking in on our scores, we got TCU up on Ohio State 31 to 20, 33 to 24. Just got a run out layup there. So minor surprise maybe, but TCU is a good team coming from the Big 12, Ohio State, Big 10. So that one's going on. And then we got Troy up early on Nebraska 13 to 12. That would be a major upset if that was how that one was to play out. And we'll see if that sticks or how that goes down. Let's check in on our players to watch. We mentioned Mobley leading the way for Ohio State with 7 points early. Thornton has 5 for Ohio State. Over on the TCU side, David Punch has 3 points, couple blocks. He's already got 5 or 6 total rebounds. Xavier Edmonds, Micah Robinson leading the way with 10 points apiece for TCU. If we check in, whoops, the wrong button here. It's my fault. Let's get back to where we were. Sorry, guys. Doing this all solo, I'm not nearly as good at it as Trevor is. So you'll just have to deal as I kind of figure it out and you'll figure out how to do this the way the way he does. So let's see here. Trying to get that Troy Nebraska game up, and I clicked on the wrong button because the screen jumped because of a pop-up ad. Let's see. Let's take down. All right. Give me the wrong box score again. All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get it sorted. Let's see what else we got coming in here. UC Irvine doesn't play anybody good enough to get an auto, to get in that large bid. That's the challenge. I used to live in Irvine, and I actually went over there and watched a bunch of games when I lived in the area, and it was a lot of fun to go to their games. Anteaters, Zot. Right? That's I think what they say. But they are I mean they're interesting with with that. But yeah, I mean they're now they got Hawaii in the conference with them, so that's tough. Yaxel Lenborg, a couple people talking about him in the chat. We're excited with that. So we'll see. Nebraska, Nebraska's looking for their first ever NCAA tournament win. Guys, we got 3 games getting ready. We got South Florida, and that's coming up at 1:30. South Florida and Louisville will be our 3rd game, and the 4th game in this early afternoon window is High Point in Wisconsin. Will be our other game. All right, so finally was able to get the box score up. So guys to watch: Rink Mast has 5 points early for Nebraska. Price Sanford has 3. His brother is on a 2-way contract, Peyton Sanford, with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So a little bit of bloodline when he's there. And then Thomas Dowd has not scored yet for Troy, but Troy has the lead behind Victor Valdez and Cooper Campbell with 6 points apiece. So that's there's our update there, catching up. TCU has extended their lead to 15 over Ohio State. Here they're starting to make shots, starting to get out and run a little bit. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that one. This is gonna be an interesting game to see if Ohio State can get themselves back into it. They just went to halftime, and it is 39-22. TCU up on Ohio State at halftime, right? Halftime of our first game of the day. These early window games tend to have they tend to have really high upset potential, because a lot of times these kids are playing at times they've never played for. One of the old kind of tenets with the tournament is you get a West Coast team playing in the early window. So if they're playing in that early afternoon window where it's 1 o'clock, remember for those teams you're talking it's that's basically playing a game at 10 o'clock in the morning. For those players, that's in a little bit of a different kind of place with that. Yeah, UCI doesn't get anybody to play. I get it, but they're also not. They're not at like the Gonzaga level, because Gonzaga is the West Coast Conference used to be similar to that. They're gonna have to take some bye games and then go win them. Like that. That's how it'll be. Is get in there, but it's tough. Let's see here. Rink Mass NBA prospect. Yeah, I mean, not all these guys are prospects like to be drafted in the first round or even be drafted in the second round. These are guys who might show up, on a summer league roster, get into training camp, play in the G League, maybe on a 2-way contract, something like that. So, I mean, I don't know that he's going to be anybody's going to be jumping up and down to go get, but there's a chance. I think he could, maybe play in the NBA. We'll see. How long will the Grizzlies rebuild last? It's going to depend on what they do in the draft. I mean, you got to hit on the draft picks. And what happens with the John Morant trade as well. I think we're all expecting that to go down this offseason, that they will be looking at making a move. So we'll see, where that goes. But, we'll kind of go from there. They do not need to add 2 more rounds of the NBA draft. Players and teams already wish there was teams differently. Sorry, players and agents, most of them wish there was no draft, period. They'd rather pick their spot. You start talking about adding 2 more rounds, they're lose their minds. I have had an idea of like a third round, where that third round is like, yeah, that's targeted more at players on two-way contracts as they build up the G League programs, in that. But that's very, very unlikely. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that. So uh, again, Nebraska Troy, that's our only game that we have going on right now. TCU Ohio State is in halftime, and Louisville South Florida doesn't tip for about another 25 minutes there. So they're a little bit slower to get started in the morning. It's the evening session when it's the 7 o'clock window. It's like game, 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 and then same thing in the late evening window with that. So let's see. Yeah, I like Morez Johnson. He plays with a ton of energy. What I really love is he has shown the ability to play off other bigs. Whether it be Lenborg or Mara, he's done a really good job playing off both of those guys as well. So I think that makes him a much more interesting NBA prospect, because when you are he's probably a 4 at the NBA level, but you have shown you can play with another big. Because a lot of times 4s in college, they really want to kind of own the paint. I think that's been really good for him. Sean asked, related to Morez Johnson, will we leave Michigan? Yeah, that's the question, right? And we're seeing now more guys are staying. I mean, Michigan benefited from that with Yaxel Lenborg. He was a guy who was borderline first round pick, probably would have snuck into the end of the first round, but said, you know what? I can make a lot of money playing in college, boost my draft stock. And now I know teams are looking at him maybe, a little bit higher, tail end of the teens, early 20s for Lenborg. Johnson's a kid who could stick for another year at Michigan for sure, or transfer if that's just have to mention that because it happens a lot. If he wants to do that, then we could kind of go forward from there with that. So we'll see what happens with him with that. But I don't know if he sticks or not. I think we'll see. Does C's regret moving any of their guys? Drew Holiday. Well, they didn't move Al Horford. Horford left on his own. They couldn't offer. They weren't going to offer him what their now gap is so much. Problem is, you can't really think that way, because if Drew Holiday doesn't get traded, other guys don't play more, and it doesn't expand roles for guys the way it did. So they're fine with the way it went. They knew the way it was going to go, and they just kind of go forward from there. So there are no regrets in Boston at all with the way things have gone. Mara break into the lottery. Lottery's probably a little high. Probably more of a back end of the first round kind of guy, but I like him. I like his passing as a big guy. You can see he really understands how to read the game and does a nice job, especially, again, with Lenborg, with Johnson. There's a lot of good big-to-big passing type stuff from them. Is Braden Smith a first rounder? Well, you got your answer here from Zumez, who says no way. I don't know. I think Braden Smith is better shooting TJ McConnell. I think he's going to be really tough in the NBA. I think he's going to be the kind of guy wherever he lands, whether that works his way into the end of the first round. And I would absolutely look at him at the end of the first round if I needed a point guard. I have no doubt Braden Smith will be a high-end backup point guard for 10, 12 years in the NBA at the very least. I mean, this guy can really run a team, but he can shoot the ball too. And that's, that helps. I think, he's going to be there, and he should be by the end of their first round game, the all-time leader in assists in the NBA there. So better shooting McConnell is Pritchard. Different. TJ McConnell's a more impactful, pesky defender than Pritchard has been. Pritchard is not by any means a bad defender. He's just small. But yeah, I mean, and Smith's a better playmaker than honestly McConnell or Pritchard. For others, scoring wise, it's Pritchard way ahead. But I would absolutely draft Smith. No more Smiths in the league. That's just not true. We just talked about two of them with Pritchard and McConnell who play. There are other guys that are similarly type size that are there. So I think it's there. Price Sanford. Let's see. Got a note here from SG saying that he is getting hot. So let's take a look. Yeah, he's got 9 points early. 3 of 5, all on threes. So that's what he does. He's a really good shooter, but he can put the ball on the floor a little bit, create a little bit too. So keep an eye on that Nebraska-Troy game. With that one, Sanford is definitely off to a good start. Mass off to a good start. I have no idea how you say his name. But Burke Bayuntisel, Bayuxel. Somebody can tell me if they know better. That's my bad. I've just never heard it said, and I again couldn't find a pronunciation guide. He's another player that some have mentioned as a potential NBA guy at some point for fringe type NBA guy around the back end. Thomas Dowd, he's only gotten up 2 shots for Troy, so they need to get him the ball. Yeah, let's go. The general says, happy March Madness Day. Absolutely. Love that. Love seeing that here in the chat. So about an hour in already today, a little bit less. We're gonna have a lot of fun throughout the course of the day watching the tournament and hanging out, and we'll see kind of how it's going. If it's things get slow or people aren't hanging out with us, we might step away for a little bit and we'll come back a little bit later. Here we're trying something different, something new. We'll see. I mean, my thought was I'm going to be watching the game anyway. Might as well hang out and hang out with you guys for a while. Normally I get together with a bunch of people, but my normal group, everybody was traveling this year, so I was like, all right, let's hang out and we'll watch together with the front office show fans. Let's see. How many NBA prospects does Illinois have on their team? I think it's quite a few, actually. Wagler's the best one of that group. Both the Aviciches, Tomislav and Zonomir. They're 2 brothers. They're both potential prospects. Stojakovic is a potential NBA guy. I know some people really like Kylan Boswell. I think it's Humricious, I think is how you say it. Again, you can tell me if I'm wrong with that, but he's another guy who's had his name been thrown out there with this. Bayuktunsel. Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that one there. But yeah, Wagler's the best one. But I mean, there's a lot of guys on that Illinois roster that are interesting NBA potential guys at some point. I picked Houston in our front office show bracket challenge. I picked Houston to win that. So those there it is. We'll see. I like the way they defend. I think they've got enough offense. They've got high level experience. So we'll see with that. So yeah, but here's the thing, right? They saying not an NBA player. Cole Swider was an NBA player for several years. Not all these guys are going to be all-stars or even on rosters for a decade. But if you're getting 2-way contracts, you're getting invited to summer league, you're getting invited to training camp, you're an NBA you're an NBA level guy. So I think I think there's a chance for a lot more guys. It's there's currently today 540 players in the NBA if all rosters were full with 15 on standard and 18 on 2-ways. There are a lot more than 540 NBA level players. There's probably 700 or so NBA level. That doesn't mean, again, not all great, not all even rotation guys, but guys who could be 2-way guys who could be in the G League, guys that are fringe NBA guys. That's part of the reason the league's open to expansion, and part of the reason the league is doing the NBA Europe thing too, because I think they can fill out a whole bunch of rosters. So we'll see where all that goes. Troy hanging in there with Nebraska down 7, about 7 minutes to go. In the first half, again, we get TCU Ohio State is at halftime. That's 39-24. TCU is up. And then we've got this Troy Nebraska game going on. And then we've got South Florida Louisville tipping off. That'll be our third game here of this window number 1 of the day of our 4 windows. And then High Point in Wisconsin is our last game in the afternoon, early afternoon window. Late afternoon window's pretty good too. We've got let's pull it up because we got Duke in action. That's the highest ranked team, or highest seeded team. So we got Duke and Siena, then Vanderbilt and McNeese, Michigan State, North Dakota State, Arkansas, and Hawaii. So we got some major prospects coming in that next window of games. You got obviously all the Duke guys led by Cam Boozer. Arkansas has a whole bunch of NBA guys led by Darius Acuff Jr. Vanderbilt's got some NBA guys led by Tyler Tanner. Michigan State's got a couple guys to keep an eye on. Cohen Carr, I believe, and then Fears Jr., who's tough. So we got quite a few guys coming up in the next window. But for now, we're here. Fortunately, Louisville, Mikael Brown Jr. is going to be out. He's not going to play. Doesn't sound like even if they win today, he'll play later this weekend. Sounds like maybe next weekend. So they're going to have to win a couple games without him. They've got some guys, though. I hear we talk about that ahead of their game tipping off. Ryan Conwell, another good scoring player, firmly in the mix to be a second-round pick at Louisville. And then you also have Adrian Woolley, another tough player. And then Isaiah Nelson is the guy that I really know for South Florida. He's played really well for them. So that's going to be another handful of guys to keep an eye on here as we get into the thing. Man, Sanford is going off. Bryce Sanford, it's already up to 5 threes already. Is that correct? Yeah, 5 for 7 from 3 for Bryce Sanford. So he's shown out. He's a guy's second round pick is where he's been talked about. His potential being maybe could play himself into that high end of the second round. So we'll see. NBA second rounds become interesting over the years. It's turned into the high end guys get those second round pick exceptions. They get those 3 or 4 year deals. They're on the roster and all that. The middle of second round is turned into that's where you draft two-way guys who are willing to take the two-way contract. A lot of guys are getting drafted out of that. And then there were players like Austin Reeves, a great example, really dissuaded teams from drafting him because he wanted to go to the Lakers as an undrafted player. So he was, really kind of was like, yeah, maybe don't draft me because sometimes it's better for guys if you don't want to do the two-way, you're not going to get given the guaranteed contract or the second round pick exception. You'd rather choose your spot where you think you can make it best. And obviously that's doesn't work out for everybody, but it's worked out quite well for Austin Reeves. You're gearing up for the South Florida Louisville game. They were just showing a bunch of Darius Acuff highlights, and I love that kid. So I think he's going to be something else here. So Sanford broke the string. He's now at the free throw line for the first time. So he's not just going to make threes. So we'll see, what happens here. He made that one. So, but yeah, good start for him. Made both free throws. It's up to 17 first half points with 5 minutes to go. Nebraska's starting to pull away a little bit on Troy, 32-19 with about 5 minutes to play in the first half there. So now we're getting some Cam Boozer highlights. Really excited for that Duke game. They're going to overwhelm Siena, but you're going to get to see Cam Boozer and Caden Boozer, Isaiah Evans. We've got some guys out. Caleb Foster's out. Patrick Gungba is out. So that's tough for them to be without those guys. But it's Duke, so they're still loaded. Dame Sarr's kind of sort of an interesting prospect a little bit there. So we'll see with that. That comes after Ohio State TCU, which they're out there warming up, getting ready for the second half. So we get we're going to be 3 games all happening here at once here in the next 10 minutes or so, which is great. Just flipping through, making sure we're not missing any NBA news. Going on, big news of the day: Cade Cunningham injured with a collapsed lung. He's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks here. We'll see, what happens with that. We also had Franz Wagner gave a little bit of an update to Jason Beatty of the Orlando Sentinel, where he said his rehab from the high ankle sprain has been very frustrating. He talked about how he came back too early to play in the Berlin game, but obviously that was a very special game for him to play in the homecoming game for him and his brother in Germany. And then in a spot where then missed time and just, wasn't ready. Then came back, thought he was ready, came back, wasn't ready again. So that's twice now. This time around, he said, hey, I want to be out there, I want to be playing in games, but got to get this right. So we're going to see, what happens, with him. Magic need him. He's a really important player. So we're going to see, where that goes. All right. We are, cranking through here. We got Troy cutting into it a little bit. Just got a couple of free throws. So we're going to see if they can play themselves back into this one here. With that, so Troy down 11 to Nebraska late in the first half. TCU, Ohio State getting ready to start the second half, and South Florida, Louisville getting ready to tip off here in the next few minutes. We're at a little bit of a pause in the action. We'll talk NBA very, very briefly here. We got tonight, Magic Hornets is a pretty good game on the schedule. Pistons Wizards. We got Lakers Heat tonight. That'll be an interesting one. That's a tough back-to-back for the Lakers, going from Houston to Miami. Miami's always a team that plays tough. Cavs and Bulls. Clippers and Pelicans. Second time. That's again in one of those baseball series. Pelicans handled the Clippers yesterday. Spurs and Suns could be a good one. Bucks, Jazz, not so great. And Sixers, Kings in the late night window. That's not the best game either, with all the guys out from the Sixers side. So good day for March Madness. Good day to hang out and watch a little college hoops here. Be completely honest, as a self-described NBA snob, it's usually after the first 2 windows of games, I'm a little like, we hit about 7 o'clock Eastern, and I'm like, oh, we got NBA. What's happening in the NBA? And I tend to want to kind of check that out a little bit there. So if we're still going here later tonight, we'll probably do a little bit more NBA talk a little bit later in the evening when the NBA games get cranked up. How do you guys? Plus, sure of what to say about a player when of it. Can you ask that again? I'm not following your question. Ask that again, Pikachu, because I'm not following what you're asking. It's rough, man. I don't like when we get into the four game window and then they're all on commercial. It doesn't feel like that should be able to happen here. Do you think NBA would flex out Pistons Hawks or Celtics Thunder? Yeah, probably not. That is when is that game? That's this weekend, right? I think that's Sunday. No. When is that? Next week? I know it's coming up. But yeah, probably not. Would be my guess. It could get very hard to move, and they have rules on how many times teams can appear on national TV and all of that sort of stuff. So that's my guess. That would be my answer to that. Is they're probably not gonna flex it out. Plus, I mean, the Hawks are playing great, and the Pistons, even though okay, they're still the first place team in the East. So I know. I mean, I get it, right? I'd Thunder Celtics, but I'm gonna find it anyway next Wednesday. So let's see. Let's do a little investigation here while we're waiting for everything to get fully moving again. You also have to move the game time because they have a second game that night at so you'd have to move Celtics Hawks or Celtics Thunder up and then move the other one out. So but yeah, probably not. Probably and also not this close, not within a week. Generally that's not the way they do things. They try not to do that. They try to do it when it's much further out with that. So all right, TCU and Ohio State are back going here to start off the second half. Nebraska, Troy were in the final little bucket of time, about 3.5 minutes to go in the first half in that one. So it's been fun. Start here, hanging out. ESPN has made it really hard to jump around from their box scores now. Now you got to go from box score to Gamecast instead, and their box scores the way they. I mean, I know why they changed all their box scores was to better suit the gambling product, but it's I don't love the way they moved everything around. I'm a creature of habit, and I like having it set up here. Okay, Pikachu. Let's see. How do you and Trev know what to talk about a player whenever you evaluate their draft stock, their potential in the NBA? Watch college ball as a casual, but I don't know what to say about them. Just comes down to knowing what NBA teams look for in players. And, you talk to enough people in the NBA and you get to know, all right, teams are looking for this and it changes. It's not always the same, right? It used to be like the worst thing you could be in the NBA for years. Like when I was growing up and first getting started doing this was a tweener, right? It was like everybody's like, oh no, is he a center or is he a power forward? Is he a small forward or a shooting guard? You're a tweener and that's horrible. Now it's like everybody's like, oh, you can play both spots, great. That's adds to your value. You're much better off with that. So that becomes a thing you need to know too. What's kind of going on with that as well. So that's it. And then and then it's what then when you're watching the players, Trevor does not watch as much college basketball. He's very locked in on the NBA and does everything you guys see him doing for Lakers Nation. There's like 10 times more work that he does that you don't see for Lakers Nation. So just keep that in mind with him. But then it's so he college he comes to it a little bit later with all this stuff. But yeah, I try to spend a lot of time on this stuff. And I'm not even as deeply ingrained as a lot of the other guys are for draft purposes, and certainly not as deeply ingrained for just college basketball purposes with this. Yeah, Sam Hoiberg is his kid, I believe. Is Fred Hoiberg's son. So yeah, and then if you watch it enough, you'll once you watch a player enough, and if you watch enough NBA, you get you get very you get kind of locked in on, all right, I know what teams are looking for, and that get you kind of there. So well, that's a fun question from Ellison. Let's see. If you were a GM or a VP for a franchise, who's the one college coach you'd want to interview for an NBA job? I mean, I think it's clear now it's probably not going to be the path he goes, but I thought Danny Hurley's comments about building a program were really interesting because I do think you need to do that in the NBA now. I think the idea of having a system you're gonna believe in, then buy into, and then develop guys through can be huge for you. I think that's a huge part of why the Celtics have had so much success. So I thought his idea or his at least comments about building a program were really interesting. So he'd be still pretty high on the list. I do kind of wonder if maybe John Shire eventually can do look at the NBA level. But I think we really have seen these teams are now we're in a spot where it becomes college coaches stay college coaches because it's college is a coach's game and NBA is a player's game. It's not as simple as that, but it's not much more complicated than that either. So it's a interesting spot there with that. Because I'm gonna run real quick. I'll be right back. We'll get back into more and more of your questions here in a moment. All right, thanks for hanging there. A minute I needed to run. We had a package delivered, and if you guys go through it all, what we go through, a lot of the packages, if you leave them on your porch, they don't stay on your porch. So to go run and grab that off the porch. Which that's don't steal people's stuff. Like what are people doing? Pikachu says, how come some college coaches work well in college, don't on the professional level? Then our guy here answered, as a successful NBA coach came from college since Brad Stevens. Managing grown men versus kids is completely different. Most would turn out like John Bayline. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of why it doesn't happen is because we get those exact issues where it is it's you're managing professionals. You in the NBA, if you're the head coach, 90% of your roster makes more money than you do, and that can be kind of a thing there that is can factor in. It probably shouldn't, but it does factor in for some people. Yeah, and it's just tough. I mean, in college, college is it's a coach's game, and NBA is a player's game. It can be that easy. We got Louisville, South Florida, cranking now as well. So now we're into 3 games at once. We got Troy, Nebraska. Nebraska really has built a nice lead here, 41-23, late in the first half. TCU is up 41-28 on Ohio State. We're at about 15 minutes to go in the first half on that one. And then Louisville, South Florida, just getting started. We'll have Wisconsin and High Point in about 15 minutes. That'll kick off, and we'll have our tip off. We'll have all the games going. We'll have four games going at once, which is the most we can have with this. Let's see. My crazy, I'd rather have Caleb Wilson over Darren Peterson. I wouldn't go that far. I'm not out on Peterson like that by any means. But I like Caleb Wilson. He's the 4th player on my board. My board goes DeBonta, Peterson, Boozer, Wilson, and Acuff for my top 5. So really, if you're that big of a believer in Caleb Wilson, yeah, I guess like it's not crazy by any means. It's just not the direction I would go. I would rather have Peterson, but yeah, not bad. Let's see. Let's do a quick check around the box scores here now that we've got A game in the second half, game in the first half, and a game at halftime. So let's see our players to watch for TCU and Ohio State. Thornton only has 5 points for Ohio State on 2 of 5. Shooting just hasn't really gotten going. Mobley, 7 points on 3 of 9. Thornton just hasn't had a lot of looks at all. I'm in that one. And then Punch for TCU. He's only got 5 points. They've been Micah Robinson. He's carried away with 15 points for them. Xavier Edmonds with 10. We're going to jump over to the Troy-Nebraska game. That's at halftime again. We know Price Samfort's had the big first half for Nebraska, 17 points, 5 of 8 from behind the arc for him. Jamarcus Lawrence has also had 8 points. In that one, Rink Mast has 4 offensive rebounds. So 11 offensive rebounds for Nebraska in the first half. And then Troy really struggling to get going. They've only got 25 points. Victor Valdez has 8. Thomas Dowd, who's one of their better players, he only has 2 points in the first half there. And then Louisville and Miami's just getting started. Or Louisville and South Florida. I don't know why I said Miami. Isaiah Nelson has not scored yet for them. And Ryan Conwell has not scored yet for Louisville. So, but it's 5-5, 3 minutes in. So, and again, these early games can take a little bit to kind of get going with this. Are no timeouts in the last 5 minutes for the team common in college? No, because they usually save their timeouts until the end. Because there's every 4 minutes in college basketball is a TV timeout. When you get those TV timeouts, those are those don't count against you, but you only get, I believe it's 4 total coaches timeouts, and they generally save those up for the end. So yeah, so we don't see too much. You'll get. I mean, if the game's close and there's reasons to take timeouts, you'll get those called there in those ones. How would that? When we get into this afternoon, a little bit in the later window, around 2:50, Duke and Siena, 3:15, Vanderbilt and McNeese, 4:05. These are all Eastern time, by the way. Michigan State, North Dakota State, then 4:25, Arkansas and Hawaii. Remember what I said about teams having to play early? 4:25 for Hawaii. That's like tipping a game at 10:25 in the morning for them. So they already have an uphill battle with a very good Arkansas team. So that's going to be interesting to watch how that one plays out. That could be pretty tough. With that. So 4 timeouts for the whole game. Yeah, could you imagine with all the media timeouts and then 4 more for each team each half? Goodness, that would be something else. Yeah. You generally, if you see a team use a timeout, it is really to stop a run. Like it's like we're still 3 minutes from the next media timeout, and we're in the midst of getting crushed here. You'll see them take a timeout. It's even been once in a while you'll see coaches tell their guys if they're in the middle of a run and they're far from a media timeout, you'll see them tell a guy to take a foul just to get it to just stop the clock and get 2 media timeout if it's run long past it. So that does happen every once in a while. Definitely a different strategy in college basketball timeout usage. Where in the NBA, the teams get their full complement. If they don't use them, they get used as the media timeout. That's why it's you'll see sometimes on broadcasts they'll talk about like, oh, he doesn't want to use this timeout because they're going to use the media timeout coming up here. So you'll get try to play through it a little bit. All right. We got all 3 games are on break right now. South Florida, Louisville tied at 7 early on. Nebraska, Troy at halftime, and then TCU, Ohio State's cut into it a little bit, 43-33. So we'll see if they can go on a little run and make a game of that one. Most shocking upset, it's got to be the 16 seed when was that UMBC won, right? Like that was just stunning. I think Loyola Chicago, the run they went on a few years ago. Did they go all the way to the Final Four? I think they did. That was pretty stunning. When I was a kid, it definitely would have been NC State winning the championship that was up there. But yeah, the UMBC Virginia in the tournament was the biggest one. When I was a kid, the big upset that everybody talked about all the time was the one where Chaminade beat Virginia when Virginia had Ralph Sampson. That was a huge one too. There, yeah, Fairleigh Dickinson and Purdue, was that all? Was that a 15-2 one? Like I don't know. That was a 15-2 or what? There. So, all right, don't spam the chat. So yeah, so that was interesting. That was a 16-1, Fairleigh Dickinson. Okay, yeah. So those would be the two biggest tournament ones. Anytime it's 16 over a 1 is, because we hadn't had it before. It had been close a handful of times, but that was absolutely crazy with that. So let's see here. Just gonna keep checking in, gonna do our checks, make sure we're not missing any NBA stuff here. Yeah, it's only happened twice that a 16 has beaten a 1. Yeah, it's only been twice that's happened. So let's see. Yeah, Trevor is live over on Lakers Nation going over their injury report because it just came out, I believe, for the game against the Heat. So, I think he's going into that right now. So, let's see. Got Wisconsin and High Point tipping off in about 8 minutes or so, 7 or 8 minutes. We're getting really close to all four games going on at once. So we'll be there fairly soon with that. So Ohio State has cut it down to 3, 43-40. They're on making quite the run. Let's get their box score back up here. And if you're just joining, you haven't been in here with us earlier today, we can't show the games because we would get in trouble for that. So we've got the box score up on the screen when it updates. It can't do anything about that. That's the NCAA site with that. But I've got the games on here. So we've got like we said, a little bit of a run. TCU just made a shot to kind of hold them off a little bit with that. No, you're not the one that's spamming the chat. There was another guy in here just saying Trevor is live about 100 times. Cool. Say it once and move on. But yeah, no, yap in the chat, man. Pikachu, ask your questions, talk in the chat. That's what we're here for. Here to hang out and watch ball together and talk about the tournament and basketball and all that other good stuff. That's what we're doing this for today. Furman against UConn. What percent chance do we give them? I don't know, like 2. UConn's pretty good. I think UConn's gonna handle them probably with relative ease. It was interesting. I remember several years ago. I don't know how many people remember this. This was when Tayshaun Prince was still at Kentucky. Holy Cross was playing them really tight. And they talked about it the next time when Holy Cross made the tournament. They're like, you guys almost beat beat Kentucky, and then when they asked the Holy Cross coach about it the next year, like, hey, how did you do it? And he said, I told our guys we need to win 4-minute mini games. So it's just win 4-minute mini games throughout the course of the day. We're gonna have a bunch of those 4-minute mini games, 10 of them. And if you can win those 4-minute mini games, you can do that. So that's where it is with that. So that's what you need if you're Furman against UConn. Is you got to win your 4-minute mini games, get to each TV timeout tied or ahead. If you can do that, you've got a chance. But that's obviously a lot easier said than it is done. So we'll see with that. Do you have any upsets in mind? Yeah, it's not. It's funny. I was just reading before we started that this is the tournament where they've had kind of the least amount of upsets, like as far as we don't do a lot of gambling on here. By no means should you start betting if you don't, if that's not your thing, you don't need to do that. But there's a lot of talk about how there's just not even a lot of money coming in on major upsets. And again, a 9 over an 8 is not really an upset. A 10 over 7, not really an upset. 11 over 6, you're getting there. 12 seed and higher winning for sure. And yeah, we'll get some. We always do, but I just don't know. The reason the NCAA added 64 to 68, they added new conferences were added. So when they had a couple new conferences created, once they got there, they didn't want to reduce the number of at-large bids, so they just created the first 4, and I added that. We got to be close to 10 years or so into these first 4 games with that. Do you agree there should be some sort of cap in college basketball? What do you spend? What do you do? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's tough because I just don't know. I don't know if it'll be if we'll see a cap in college basketball. It's really hard. Just the reality is some teams are, they're blue bloods and they've got million donors and people give a lot of money, and then you've got other teams that are not that. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting to hear Kevin Young, the BYU coach, who was an NBA assistant for years and years, said he's taking like an NBA approach where it is you can have like your 2 max guys, and then a third guy gets quite a bit, and then you play it out with that. So that's just kind of an interesting approach to how he's building it out with NIL money with that. And he's had some big time recruits over the last couple of years, so we'll see kind of how that all comes together for them. But cap would make it a little bit more fair and balanced, but it's really hard. I don't want to tell these kids that they can't make money when the teams make a ton of money. That's the hard thing. And Pablo, what do you think of the Lakers playing early? Yeah, with a later game. Yeah, it's tough. That's tough back to back because you're going from Houston in the Central Time Zone at 9:30 tip off to an 8 o'clock tip in Miami. They did push it back because the Heat would usually tip off at 7:30, so they do push that back a little bit. But yeah, it's tough. That's a tough back to back anyway, and yeah, with the fact that it was a 9:30 tip in Houston, which I think their games usually start at 8 when they're not on national TV. That's going to be tough. So we'll see. I imagine Trevor's talking about it right now. I don't know if they're holding guys out or what the situation is for the Lakers with that. What determines what school qualified? It's just money. It's who do they want? That's what happened with UCLA and USC and the demise of the Pac-12, which it is coming back next year at a very different level of schools, but it is coming back. Gonzaga is going to be one of the schools in the Pac-12 for basketball, so that'll be kind of interesting with that. But yeah, that's interesting. To there's just a lot of money that goes into it. It's they want to have these super conferences, and there's been talk over the years of the bigger conferences breaking off into their own thing. So we'll see with that. Would I take a high level college job as like the head coach? No, I'm not qualified for that. I would not be even remotely qualified to do that. If it was like to come in and be like a GM, which is a lot of college teams have done now, like that's what Woj does for St. Bonaventure, that'd be a lot more interested in. It's kind of cool that that job exists now, because that wasn't really a thing. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the years here. But yeah, as a GM, yeah, I'd be definitely be open to that. And talking with the team. In expansion draft, if everything goes as what the timeline was laid out, would be in 2028. So it'd be between the 27-28 season and the 28-29 season. That's when they would do the expansion draft. And the rules as we know them would be the existing 30 teams would protect up to 8 players apiece, and then they would each have to expose at least one player. The Seattle and Las Vegas teams would be able to pick one player from each team, meaning Seattle picks a Celtic, no other Celtics can be selected. And then they would alternate back and forth. What they did with the Raptors and Grizzlies, they held a coin toss. And when the team, I believe it was the Grizzlies, won the coin toss, they took the higher. They took the higher of the NBA draft picks, and Toronto picked first in the expansion draft. I believe that's how it went. I might have that backwards, but we'll see. Where what they do, because they may change up the rules on the expansion draft as well. We don't know for sure. When the expansion draft protected lists come out, it'll be a legendary Twitter day. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I just, very hopeful we actually get them, because in the past that wasn't released publicly. Now it's been 20 years, right? It'd be 24 years by the time we get there with new teams since the Bobcats. So that's a whole other thing that it's a completely different environment. I don't know how they'll be able to keep it all secret. I think the NBA needs to just embrace it, and you do it, and then you televise the expansion draft and put it out there, and another way to get some eyes on the league and get people watching, because people will certainly be interested. But it's in the past the expansion lists were not made public. The Bobcats had a local Charlotte reporter who was able to track down almost all of the available players going into that draft, which was interesting. But it was, but those were not, the league never put those lists out publicly, not for the Bobcats and not for the Raptors or Grizzlies. Yeah, a team will need to be moved to the east, Seattle and Vegas, and the assumption is, and I think Shams reported on this, Minnesota and Memphis are the top 2 choices. Memphis is more eastern, but Minnesota is closer to more Eastern Conference teams. Minnesota is very close to Milwaukee, Chicago, Indiana's not that far away for them, where Memphis isn't. They're not far away, but they're not all that close to the other Eastern Conference teams. So, all right, TCU and Ohio State. What do we got here? Looks like TCU 49-47. So we're getting a tight one here now. It's really locking in here in that game. First game of the day, TCU up by 2 on Ohio State with the ball. I don't have the volume on, and it's in the quad box, so I can't necessarily tell who's going to work here. But TCU misses inside, but a foul. So headed to the line. There is TCU with a little over 8 minutes to play. So that says 8:22 to play in the game. Wisconsin's out to an early 7-3 lead. Louisville up 19-11 on South Florida. And at halftime, Nebraska up 41-25 on Troy. We don't know what the divisions will look like. They haven't said anything about that. We don't even know if there will be divisions. That I think will all be up in the air. Both Minnesota and Memphis go. Then who's moving from the east to the west? You don't need to move 2 teams. 2 teams coming. Everybody gets confused on this. 2 teams coming in So right now it's 15 and 15. You move 2 in to the West. So it'd be 17 and 15. You move 1 to balance it. If you moved 2, then it would be 17-15 with the East to the West. So they're not going to move 2. Very, very unlikely that they would do that. And if they did, I don't know who they'd move from the East to the West because there isn't a team that makes sense right now. It looks like, let's see. Man, the ESPN's box scores are failing me here. I don't even have individual player box scores on this one. So I don't know what to do. Here, let's see. Let's see if maybe the NCAA page is any better. It's not updating either. It's like way behind. I wonder if they're having problems with the feeds because it's still saying TCU 43 and Ohio State 36, and the score's 50-49. So 17 in each conference. What are you talking about? Then they'd have to be adding 4 teams then. It's 17 and 15 right now. So it's 15 and 15. So you add 2, Pablo, it'd be 17 and 15. You need to add 2 teams to the East as well to get to 17 and 17. They're not going to add 2 teams to the East. It's not going to happen. If you're thinking, it's 15 and 15. So you add 2, 17 and 15. You'd be at 32. Your math is 34 teams. Yeah, we can't get into the box scores. It's weird. So this happens sometimes. This happens in the NBA sometimes too. The automatic feeds go down, and then you can't get the box scores here. So yeah, so that's not great. Let's see, and that's on the NCAA's main page. I think it's only impacting that TCU Ohio State one. Ohio State, so I'll tell you what the real deal is. Ohio State has come back to take the lead, 51-50 on TCU with 7 o'clock. Yeah, Trevor's doing Lakers Nation stuff right now. Come on, y'all should have been watching Kobe highlights in math class. That's funny. Sorry. Yeah, it is just math. Trevor knows he's got the standing invitation to join at any point today. So we'll see if he comes over here and hangs out for a little bit with us. But we can have fun without him. It's okay. UCLA versus UCF prediction. I think UCLA will win the game. I'm personally rooting for UCF. That's the hometown school here in Orlando. It's right here. So, yeah, I don't know how to do raids either. The guy, if you guys watch a lot, I did a lot of. I watched not a lot, but when I need to if I have a little bit of time to kill and I'm just a little I need to just relax, I'll watch guys live stream GTA, and the live streamers do raids all the time. We're sending everybody over here for a raid. That's a thing that they do a lot with that one. Did you ever watch Kobe live? Yeah, I saw Kobe live several times. I saw him play. Let's see, I saw him play live 4 times in LA when I lived in California. I saw him play live here in Orlando several times, including I saw him actually miss a potential game winner at a game where, funny enough, there used to be, this was before I was in the media. A friend of mine and I had partial season tickets, and we would park away from the arena because it was free street parking. And then we would walk over and you could catch this bus. And we rode the bus. And if you've ever seen the Borat movie, for some reason, the hooker from Borat, the movie, was on the bus with us. So it was crazy. with that. But yeah, and then the Magic won that game. Kobe missed a potential buzzer beater in that one. And then where I saw him play, where was the other game that because I saw him 4 times in LA. I saw him a bunch here when he played in Orlando. He did not play his last year in Orlando. He sat that game out. I think I saw him play in Boston twice too, but I'll have to think about it. I can't remember where it was now. Did I have good seats? I had good seats once I joined the media side to see him. That was right at the end of Kobe's career that I was doing more in the media. Kobe was actually one of the first players I ever wrote about where I said it's he hung around so long that I felt like Kobe was starting to become underrated. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't even know if he's a top 10 guy. And I think that happens sometimes when players stick around for a very long time. They tend to almost get underrated for their career. Let's see. We might have this fixed because it just fixed and updated the scoring on TV. No, not yet. Well, we're getting closer. They're still showing it 50-49. Oh, they took a basket. No, they didn't. It's 51-50. Never mind. My bad. Ohio State is up. So just under 7 minutes to go in that one, first game of the day. And Ohio State just scored again. Little backdoor cut, 53-50. So they're up with 6 minutes to play there. Bryce Sanford still knocking them down from deep for Nebraska. Let's check in on that one here. I wish we could play the games live. If you're just joining and checking in, we can't. We would get in trouble and we would no longer be live. I don't even know if we'd have the channel anymore. We can't. We don't have the rights to those, and unfortunately, playback is no longer a thing. It's shut down. So we're just gonna find them how you find them, and we'll hang out and watch together and talk about the games and just have a good time. So Wisconsin's up 15-9 on High Point. High Point just had a run-out dunk. And Louisville's up 24-11 on South Florida. That's good for Louisville because there was questions if they were going to be that good, without Mikal Brown. So that's good to see them playing well. Will the Pistons drop in the standings with the Cade injury? Yeah, I don't think so. They're still 4 up on Boston in the loss column. That's a lot of games to make up. The Celtics only have 13 games left, so that's it's a lot of games to make up with that few games left. So we'll see, but I mean it's certainly possible. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if that's going to be how that happens. Yeah, Nick Boyd and John Blackwell. We didn't cover that, so thank you for the reminder. The guys to watch in this Wisconsin High Point game. Nick Boyd, John Blackwell, Nolan Winter, if he's playing. He was questionable to play, so I'll have to look up and see if he was playing yet. But those are the guys to watch on the Wisconsin side. And then Terry Anderson is the player to watch. On High Point, he's number 5. He's a really good all-around player. Can really do some good stuff for them. Let's see. It looks like Nolan Winter is out for Wisconsin for this one. Oh no, he's coming off the bench. He came off the bench. So okay, so scratch that. He is in today. He's a important player. He's a big guy for the Badgers, an important player. And Anderson's got 4 points in the early going for High Point. So, Dynamite. Oh man, he kind of exploded for that dunk for Ohio State. They're up. What are they up now? 4. 57-53, big time comeback from Ohio State. They were down big in this one, so that's going to be interesting. With this, 5.5 minutes to go, and Bynum missed the free throw. So still a 4-point lead for Ohio State over TCU. Let's see here. See if we get that one working yet. Trevor just texted me. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to join us here in a minute. Killing me that these box scores aren't updated here for this Troy Ohio State game. Wanted to see who's doing what for the stats. 2-point game. Just under 5 minutes to go. Oh, ball bounces out. Big offensive rebound. Man, TCU all over the offensive glass here, going to the line with a chance to tie it up. Trevor says I did my Lakers injury report live and had people in the chat saying you were live. And then he said he's got to take care of something. He's going to come in and hang out with us for a little bit. I'll let him know he's not welcome because he left us hanging. No, this is not. He'll come in and hang out for a little while, but I knew he had stuff to do today. So we got 4 going at once. So we're into the heart of what we love about the tourney. We got a close one in Ohio State's up 2 with about 4.5 minutes to play on TCU. Nebraska's up by 18 over Troy. About 14 minutes to go. Now they're up 20. Louisville's up 10 on South Florida with about 5 minutes to play in the first half. And Wisconsin up 8, just made a bucket with looks like about 11 minutes to go in the first half in that one. So we got a pretty good setup going here with all 4 games going at once. This is when it gets a lot of fun and tough. This is when it's fun if you're in a place with a whole bunch of people. Go absolutely crazy with that. So if a team goes on a run before media timeout, why doesn't coach sometimes use their own timeout? They do. You'll see it every once in a while. It kind of depends on how close you are to the media timeout. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where then sometimes they'll, if you go past when the media timeout is and there hasn't been a stoppage, sometimes you'll see them tell them to, they'll tell them to go foul somebody intentionally or something like that to give a foul to get to the media timeout there. So. TCU is back up on Ohio State. We got about 3:45 to go in that one. So it's going to be something here to watch down the stretch. Looks like we're going into a timeout here. So that's going to be a fun one. Well, I'll probably put the sound on here in my office before we get going. But when this one comes back and if it's still close at the end. We might have to permanently change Sanford's last name to Price with a 3 instead of the E. Yeah, I mean, he is on fire today. Let's see what he's up to now. Score is available for that one. 56-37, Nebraska leads. Sanford's got 23 points, 7 for 11 from behind the arc. Every shot he's taken has been a 3. And then he's there. Can I have audio when I'm streaming? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably have to turn it way down. I probably won't unmute it then. That's a good point. I don't know. No, the answer to that. I'll have to ask Trevor when he gets here. I don't want to get in trouble because we don't want to get booted off and becomes a whole thing. It's we already got in trouble once. I played 2 seconds of that that song Easy Like Sunday Morning. I played like 2 seconds of that song once, and they demonetized the video, and we got in trouble. So we don't want to do that. Pains me to say as a Celtics fan, but the Lakers crept up into true contender status. They look really good. Yeah, I mean, if this defense sticks around, yeah, that's the difference, right? I think that's been the big difference from them. We knew their offense could get to this level if everybody kind of bought in, was all working together. But yeah, if their defense continues to play like this, yeah, absolutely. I think the Lakers could be there. I don't think they would beat the Thunder. Spurs, that's a different story. We haven't seen the Spurs in a playoff situation just yet, but yeah, if they can, they Thunder, that's a whole different animal, right? Like that's still tough, and they can problem solve and cause the Lakers some issues with their own defense, especially pressure on the ball handlers. But yeah, I mean, Lakers are playing great right now, and a lot of it's come on the defensive end. I think JJ Redick's done an awesome job with the things he's kind of put together and some of the zone defenses and junk defenses and all that. Any team can beat any other team. Yeah, no. This is why I love the NBA. Don't get me wrong, right? I love the NCAA tournament. I love the the single game nature of it and the upsets and all that stuff. In the NBA, unless there's major injuries involved, we get a more real true champion, I think, than most other sports, because you have to beat a team 4 times in 7 games to beat them and knock them out. So if you have that one night where you make everything and they don't make anything, it doesn't, and you win. Okay, great. You got to still beat them 3 more times. So that's the challenge. I think that's why, I mean, yeah, any team can beat any other team, but it's not, I think, quite as easy as that. So, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Lakers have struggled against some of the better teams in the league. That is definitely true. I don't know that I would put Boston there yet, though. We'll see. I mean, maybe they'll get there. I don't know. Pistons, Knicks, Cavs, they all still have they've earned their spot there near the top as well. All right, we're back in TCU, Ohio State. TCU has the ball up 1, just over 3 minutes to go. Into the paint. Oh, foul called on Ohio State. So TCU, I believe, yeah, they're going to the line. Ohio State looks like they're trying to amp up the physicality a little bit here. Still no box score for the TCU Ohio State game. So we'll get there eventually. Probably after. High Point. Let's see here. Get into this box score for Wisconsin and High Point. Cameron Fletcher off the bench with 7 points for High Point. They're only 3 for 14 from 3, so they got to start knocking down some triples. John Blackwell, he's like a fringe-ish NBA kind of guy. 10 points. Nick Boyd, 7 points. So the guards getting it done early for the Badgers. Those are the guys that they're going to need to have big games to get the win there. So we keep the box score up for that one. Yeah, this is exactly basketball. You get a real true champion in the NBA most years. I mean, you can have an injury that can really, kind of throw things off and crazy. But yeah, as far as just straight winning, it's hard to. You're not going to get a bunch of upsets on your way to a title. You might get 1 or 2, but it's not going to go too crazy with that. So. Let's do this. Oops. 2 off. There we go. That's the full slate. Well, there's one game kind of hiding down there at the bottom, but yeah, we get some good ones today. Like I said, excited for that Duke Siena game. That'll be the next one. after Ohio State and TCU finished. I think it's 35 minutes now in between games. It used to be 30, but then it used to get really tight. I think so. I think they've now planned in 35 minutes is what it is in between games. Which isn't bad because it gives you a chance to kind of catch your breath and check in on the other games. Just over 2 minutes left, and Ohio State looks like he just Euro stepped. It was either into a foul or an offensive foul. Let's see. Oh, we caught him with the elbow as he tried to Euro around him. Ooh, got him good too. I think that was Thornton. If a coach gets fired for having a winning record mid-season, what would be the reason behind it? David Blatt. You mean? Yeah, I think that's just a matter of that Cavs team knew even though they had won some games, things weren't going well. The coach had kind of lost the locker room, and I think they were just ready to go in a different direction. So that's, it seems weird. Like, yeah, it seems weird on its face that you would change it up like that. But yeah, but I get why. They did it. It worked out fine. Ended up going to the finals that year. Nebraska is just blowing the doors off Troy. So it looks like Nebraska is going to get their first ever NCAA tournament win for the Cornhuskers. They're up now. They're up 25, 65-40. Major blowout brewing there. So didn't think that one necessarily be overly close, but didn't know it would get quite that much out of hand. So we'll see. We're coming back. They're doing a review on this Ohio State TCU play. I would not be surprised if this gets overturned because he definitely got him pretty good in the face with that elbow as he tried to Euro around him. That wasn't really one of those defending with your face calls that I don't like, because the guy was he was straight up and down. We got in street clothes giving a little Cade Cunningham update. He is really, really good. Average lost time for a collapsed lung, 26 days and rounded to 11 26 days and 11 games is the average lost time. So that's really close to the end of the regular season for Cade Cunningham. If it goes on that length. We have had a couple guys come back sooner. Terrence Jones was only out about 2 weeks and missed, I think, 6 games. So we'll see, where that goes. All right, straight foul. He made both free throws. Ohio State's up 1, 2:08 to play. TCU has the ball. We go under the 2-minute mark here. What we're going to do, so we can see it easier, I'm going to flip it to the big screen by itself. There's Punch. Gets the and one. It's been somewhat of a quiet game for David Punch, but he drove, spun out of the post, and picked up the and one. So puts TCU back on top. Punch is he's been their best player for the season. I don't know if he's been their best player today. But a big finish by him. They're back up. This kid can play. Punch is tough. 15 points. So I guess he's probably picked it up here in the second half since we lost the box score. He can't actually see who's doing what. But yeah, he's a good player. He is tough. Minute 45. He knocked down the free throw. So TCU up 2. Ohio State's going to take it out. Thornton and Mobley are the two guards to watch. This is where it generally helps to have guards, and Thornton's a senior, so he's been around. He's been through all of this before. So we'll see if Ohio State can get. Looks like they're trying to run an off-ball action to get it to him. Comes up off the screen, gets it on the wing, kicks to Mobley, 3-pointer off, scramble, and it's going to be Ohio State ball.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
I had,
Good timing. We got a close one going right down to the end.
dude, I didn't even realize games started this early. What is happening?
Always.
You were live on here. I was dealing with all the Cade Cunningham stuff and all the Lakers injury report, and then I've got people telling me you were live. I'm like, what? He is?
Yeah. 12:15. Both today and tomorrow. I think on the weekend too. I think it's noon. They do 12:15 because I think they do the local news for a little bit here.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's always CBS as the first game of the day.
So I just put on CBS, and it's TCU and Ohio State.
Yeah, it's a close one. This has been the best game so far. It was the first game of the day too. So you're with us.
Okay.
We're right at the end, minute 16 left. Yep.
The guy at the free throw line, do we care about him?
No. I think that's Amari Bynum. He had a huge dunk earlier. But no, it's the two guys for Ohio State are Mobley and Thornton. They're two guards, 0 and 2.
Okay.
And then David Punch for TCU. He just had a big 3-point play.
That's a great name.
Yeah. And they keep saying he's not Punch the Monkey. He's just Punch. Do you know about Punch the Monkey?
No. What is this?
He's this monkey who is abandoned by his mom. And,
with the stuffed
animal.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the other monkeys have been mean to him. My daughter is obsessed.
Stupid, mean monkeys. Why are they being mean to be nice? Oh, the driving kick 3. TCU. Is it still an upset when it's a 9 versus 8 seed?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
You can't. My rules early were you can't brag about it if you picked it. You can't brag about a 9 over an 8 or a 10 over a 7.
Right.
11 over a 6, you can get there. Anything lower seeded than that for sure. Good defense. Mobley gets. Mobley drills the contested 3.
You're slightly ahead of me. Hits it. Tied at 64. 30 seconds left. All right. Let's go.
TCU gonna call a timeout. There's a 4.3 difference in the shot and game clock right now. So, man, for the opener for the 64, we couldn't ask for a better one. So
yeah, that's
Trevor,
awesome.
we've got a little issue. The box scores are not aligned with the game for this one, so that's why it's off on the window here.
Okay.
We're showing, but I was explaining to him we can't show the game because we'll get in trouble.
Oh yeah. The copyright police will come after us.
And I was almost going to unmute it so I could hear it. And so I was like, I don't know if you could do that either. So.
Even the audio may get picked up. Like I know, I watch a lot of, vacation content. People will be like on a cruise ship or whatever, and their song is playing in the background and they have to find a way to mute it. We've even had it where we're doing, getting B-roll and stuff like that at practice sessions. And if the team has music on playing in the background, like and have stuff get flagged. I've had stuff get flagged years after the fact.
Well, and I explained to them. I remember I played like 3 seconds of a song, and we got flagged. So
yeah. But now they're much better about giving you options to remove it, to fix the problem, to either mute that portion of it, cut out that portion of it. They have some software that can actually try to remove music now and still keep your vocal and stuff like that. So it's a lot better than it used to be. But yeah, it's sensitive to stuff like that.
So it should be. They should give you a chance to fix it.
Yeah.
High Point guys, they made a run on Wisconsin just as we're waiting for this TCU Ohio State game. High Point's only down 2. Now they've closed in on that one. Nebraska blowing out Troy. They're up 30, and Louisville late in the first half up 9 on South Florida.
Well, here we've got 25 seconds left.
See, punch is in the lower left corner.
Okay.
Probably going to make their action right around 10 seconds. Doesn't look like
Yeah, don't want to leave too much time left.
keeping it with the guard. Oh, there it is. They get it to him. Let's see if
punch. He's calling for it.
Oh, feed to the big man.
Feeds it into the post
too.
Put it up.
Solid finish.
Oh, big time bucket.
So punch showing trust in the teammate there to drop it off.
And good patience to throw that pump fake and then wait and then go up.
Yeah, with only 4 seconds left on the shot clock, too.
Easy to panic in that moment and just try to rush the shot.
All right. Well, yeah. Your reach goes far because everybody here is trying to give nicknames to players now. So that's good. Price Sanford, he's plays for Nebraska. He's a shooter. His brother's Peyton Sanford is on a two-way with the Thunder. They wanted to. He's 7 for 11 on 3-pointers today for 23 points, and they are trying to say we need to price with the 3 at the end instead of the E. So
yeah, that's the way. That's the way to do it stylistically. But wouldn't be the much simpler thing to call him thrice?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
Price is right, wrong. Did you see the Bob Barker documentary? My wife is watching this. Apparently, was not a good guy.
Well, that's why Happy Gilmore tried to beat him up.
Yeah, I guess. No, Happy Gilmore knew. Nobody else did. All right, let's see. Let's see what Ohio State's got in their bag here.
66-64.
Mobley or Thornton. Those will
season
be the
on the line.
They are up 2 here. So let's see what happens here in this one.
Oh, they got to take it the full length.
Yeah, there's no advance in college.
Oh, man.
Yep.
So you got to design something that gets you with a little bit of ahead of steam here.
Looks like we're going to see, guys, we don't know all these guys like we do the NBA, but number 13, probably, no. Oh, the handback. Okay.
This
is Bruce Thornton. He's their senior guard.
2.
Oh.
A prayer? Nope. Not answered.
TCU advances. So the mini upset. TCU was up big in this game too, Trev. They were up like 15 or so points. And,
wow.
Ohio State came back strong on them. So, all right, TCU awaits for the winner of Duke and Siena. So probably Duke.
So Duke.
Yeah. Did you get your bracket done?
I did. I hit the random button.
Okay. Who was your champion here?
Duke is what I got.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'm going with it. I think I picked the whatever the audience picks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and there was like an analytics button you could pick or something like that. And all right, so our first one. I said,
forget it. I'm a man of the people. I'm going with the people's picks.
First game of the day in the books, TCU 66-64 over Ohio State. We got, let's see, we'll zip around. Louisville is up 10, 37-27 on South Florida at the half. Nebraska, Trevor, I don't know if you know this, they've never won an NCAA tournament game before, and they are 25. So their first win's been
it's coming.
Yeah, it's been like a party the whole second half. Every time they show their stands, everybody's going crazy.
That's awesome.
So I did tell the audience here we will be doing our normal Front Office Friday show tomorrow. Probably a little bit of overlap with the first games as well. So we'll probably have a little bit of that going on. Also while we do a Front Office Friday. But thoughts on Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, let me get out a tweet real quick so people know we're going to talk a little bit of NBA here.
Yeah.
And and then let's get into the Cade Cunningham situation because that's
the Horned Frog mascot. TCU is right down the street from where my parents live now in Texas. A little local-ish flavor out there. Yeah, Thornton did not have a strong game. SG, he was at least from what we had seen, not the game we thought for him and Mobley maybe going to have, but TCU advances first team into the 32.
All right. Let's. So the Cade Cunningham thing, obviously brutal news.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can be back for the playoffs. Keith, I was doing a little digging on this injury this morning and found that one of the biggest, at least from an NBA perspective, one of the biggest problems is you can't fly.
Yeah.
Can't like at least 3 weeks. At least you can't fly.
Yep.
So like you may be feeling better in a week or so. Could be a couple of weeks. Now, the other question was there any kind of a rib fracture? Is that what punctured the lung? Oftentimes that's the case. So that could be, an issue too. But yeah, you can't fly with this injury. So I mean, I know they said 2 weeks, but to me, I think most likely realistically, Cade Cunningham's regular season may be done.
Yeah, there is remember Terrence Jones? The kind of bouncy forward. He did only miss 2 weeks with a collapsed lung. He missed 6 games, but yeah, the average, this was from Jeff Stotts in street clothes, 26 days and 11 games. Ooh. So, like you said, I mean, that's the end of the season. If that's how long it takes. And then your question is, are you ready to go? And you can't do conditioning either.
Yeah.
This is not, like I talked about this with Nick Vucevic, has the hand injury. Hopefully not too big of a deal to play when he's ready, because with a hand injury, you can keep your conditioning up. You can't do any kind of conditioning with this one. So that's brutal for them.
So with this, Cade, you just got to hope he's back for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Is he ready to go round 1? I don't know. We'll have to see. Obviously, hopefully he is. We'll play it by ear, but this is rough. Do you think Detroit, though, I mean, they're 3.5 games up on your Celtics. Do you think Detroit is at risk for falling out of the 1 seed?
I don't think so. I mean, this would have to be, maybe they do collapse without Cade. It's funny. This is where you come into like best versus most valuable. Cade Cunningham may be the most valuable player to a team in the league, right? Like that team is nowhere near as good without him. He's not going to win MVP, obviously, but should still be on the ballots. We'll see now. May not be eligible if he can't make it back. He's at 61 games played, so that's probably in the balance as well. But we're in a spot with that where still up 4 games in the loss column. Boston only has 13 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, right? Maybe they can, can still hang on. I think they've got a pretty good chance of Keith staying ahead of the Celtics. Maybe the Celtics can run them down, but
Detroit has a pretty tough schedule too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so that's the other challenge, right? So we're in a spot where maybe we'll see. I mean, the Celtics are playing pretty good basketball right now, and they've got a couple challenging games still left, but yeah, it's certainly a lot more interesting than it would have been otherwise. If Cade Cunningham was fine and healthy, I would have said no, it's over. Detroit's
right.
See, no doubt, but we'll see. Where it goes with that.
A big opportunity, I suppose. Even though I hate to put any kind of a positive spin on something like this, but big chance here for Dennis Jenkins, the unheralded Dennis Jenkins, to step up in a big way. For the Detroit Pistons, and that's, man, he's scrappy. I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah, right? Sure.
Yeah.
The Pistons could still find a way. Jalen Duren, obviously, Keith. What we tend to see happen with situations like this is for a game, 2 games, 3 games, everybody on the team really steps up. Oftentimes, we'll see a star goes out, and the team will win their next game because everybody steps up. Everybody is so really locked in. But it's over the long haul that you start to really feel the effects of missing that superstar player.
Sorry, guys. Let me fix that screen there.
GM question for you guys. Trev, as the Lakers GM, who are you drafting? Keith, for Boston, who are you drafting first round?
I have no idea. I haven't gotten into it that much yet.
Yeah.
I got to know where they're going to land as well.
Yeah.
Their picks also. I will say this too for the Pistons. No Isaiah Stewart as well. Also a big loss for them to not have him either. So those are two major components of their team that they're going to be out here with a little bit. So we'll see. Hopefully, Cade. What I think if you're the Pistons, let's try to get them back with like a week or so to go in the regular season, and then then we can get them out. Then we're because they're in no danger of falling out of the top 6.
No.
So then I think you get into a position where it is all right. Get them back for a week. Then you have a week off. And the teams that are not in the play-in tournament, it almost becomes almost like a mini training camp in that week off. And you could kind of push them kind of hard and go through it with that. So let's see.
I'll tell you that the tough thing is too. I'm looking at Detroit's schedule right now. 4 of their last 5 games are on the road.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of time on airplanes.
Yeah. Like you said, he may not even be able to do that yet.
He might not be able to do that. That's the thing. They do have a fairly home schedule, heavy home schedule right now, but that's for the next week or so. But by the time he's maybe ready to get back on the floor, they're going to be hopping on planes and traveling. They got to go to Philly, Orlando, Charlotte, Indy. The only home game in that stretch is in the middle of it against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So that could be tough for Detroit as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. Halftime, Wisconsin up 41-39 on High Point. High Point is Cameron Fletcher off the bench with 11 points, is leading the way. High Point only shot 38%, only 6 of 23 from 3. They're still in the game, so that's huge for them. 8 offensive rebounds. That's a big part of it there. Terry Anderson, he was one of our players to watch coming in. He's got 8 rebounds, but only 4 points. He's 0 for 5 from 3, so they need their best player to get going. And then John Blackwell, this is a guy potentially late second-round pick. We'll see 20 points, 7 of 9 shooting, 3 of 3 from 3, 3 or 4 at the line, 6 rebounds for him. Nick Boyd's got 7 points. Nolan Winter off the bench with a couple blocks. Those are the players to know in that one. Nebraska, we're under a minute to go now for them. So they're up 29. So they are certainly going to win their first ever NCAA tournament game. And then Louisville.
Congrats to them.
Yeah, congrats to Nebraska. I mean, that's huge. That's awesome. Siena Duke will tip at 3:00 for anybody wondering. With that's the adjusted start time. It was 2:50. Obviously, Ohio State TCU ran a little late. Let's see here. South Florida, Isaiah Nelson with 7 points, a couple blocks, a couple rebounds for South Florida. Let's see. Isaac McNeely is a guy stepping up with Trevor. I don't know if you know, Mikal Brown is Louisville's top prospect's going to be a top 10 pick. He is out for the weekend with a back injury.
That's a tough time to have your top guy out.
Tell me about it, right? And
right.
But, Isaac McNeely stepping up with 11 points. He's 3 for 4 from 3. Ryan Conwell played the whole first half, but only won 1 of 8. He's their other like bigger name guy. So it kind of catches us up where we're at here. We get 2 games at halftime, and Nebraska about to finish off Troy. So with that one, let's check in on Thomas Dowd. He was our player to watch for Troy, and I think he's had a rough day. 4 points, 1 for 11 shooting. So some of these teams, when they get in on the back of like one major player, they can really it can be really
struggle. Because that guy has an off game, and you've got problems, especially when the defense is going to be all schemed towards preventing that guy from getting going.
All right, congrats to Fred Hoiberg and the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Fred Hoiberg,
he's their head coach. Name. Yeah, and his kid is on the team. His kid starts on the team. Sam Hoiberg.
There it is.
Starter. Rink Mast finished with 11 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists for the big man. Potential NBA guy there. And Price Sanford, 23 points, 7 of 13 from the floor, 7 of 12 from 3. Why'd you even take the 2-pointer if you're just going to miss it? 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. They just overwhelmed Troy. Troy, 28% shooting from the field, 8 for 28, 29% from 3. Really just could not get anything going. And congrats to Nebraska. So Nebraska moves on. They will play the winner of, let's get down to that half of the bracket, McNeese and Vanderbilt, which will get started, looks like around 3:15-ish for that one. So we're cranking, man. Now we're in it. This is the we were talking about earlier, just one of the better days of the year, today and tomorrow. Just
lots of hoops. That's for sure.
Let's see. Can we acknowledge Pistons aren't a real contender in their first real run? I mean, I think they had their first real run last year when they lost to the Knicks in the first round. They gave the Knicks everything they could handle. I think they're ready to go on a run. No opponent's going to care about anyone besides Cade and Duran. Tobias Harris can still score, can still hit some shots. Karis LeVert every once in a while can kind of get going. So,
I did think they needed to add more shooting at the trade deadline. That no disrespect to Kevin Huerter, but I thought they needed more shooting added to this roster, and that's going to be the challenge. Teams are going to pack the paint against them. Now they've been playing playoff type defense, just foul the hell out of everybody constantly. Which, and to their credit, again, they've been doing a phenomenal job defensively. They've been playing that brand, so it's possible their game will actually translate very well to the postseason because they're very used to committing lots of fouls, and more you get away with more in the playoffs. So maybe their defense will translate to the postseason. But Cade's obviously going to have to be big. Yes, I understand there's the unproven part of it, but I don't think you can just say, oh, Detroit's just not a real contender in this. I mean, they're absolutely a contender. You might like other teams more, and that's fine, but you can't just completely dismiss the Pistons.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they didn't. Yeah, they didn't come out of nowhere, right? I mean, they've been playing well, so I think we're there. Nicholas says so. He did back-to-back messages. Front office Friday, no. March Madness Thursday, yes. But we will have front office Friday.
Why not both?
Tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Why not both?
Right? Why not both?
But yeah, we're still gonna have front office Friday tomorrow. Do our normal Friday show. Probably overlap a little bit with the start of the tournament games tomorrow, but that's fine. We'll get in there and we'll talk about all of it and just have a lot of fun. This I more agree with you. I don't. I don't know that we're going to see them win, the title. I think, their offense is going to have problems. And if Cade Cunningham's not right, forget it. Like
those were my two biggest surprises, I think, at the trade deadline, were the Pistons not adding more shooting and the Houston Rockets not adding another playmaker.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they wanted to see it through, right, with their youngish core there in Detroit, and they didn't want to go all in yet and start trading like Thompson or Holland or any of those guys. I thought they could have used one more big too, and now Stewart is out, so that's not great, but or at least a big that's like a different kind of look. Somebody could play a little bit like 4 or 5 for them, instead of most of their guys are all like really more 5s, but. Yeah, it's it'll be interesting.
Well, even like you saw what Portland did getting Vit Krejci.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like if you've got Herter and Krejci, okay, you know what I mean. Like I could see in aggregate you added. You don't have to go add like, hey, we need to sacrifice Oscar Thompson in order to go get a top tier shooter or something like that. But had you added, I think, one more shooting piece, Kevin Herter's fine, but add another shooting piece, I think.
I would have liked. I would have really liked Kobe White for them.
Yes. Yep.
It would have been a really good addition if they could have got him out there. So Maxi Kleba signed to South Bay. You need to go do another live show.
Was he really? Well, he's coming back from injury. So. But people always like when there he is. When whenever I post stuff, so the team sends us that. Right. There's a reason why everybody tweets the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
The team sends us that. But on some of those, when I do post them, people take the wrong meaning from like stuff like that. Like, oh my God, he's so bad, he's been demoted or something like that. No, this is
Yeah.
he's recovering from an injury. So I'm always hesitant with things like this one because it gets taken the wrong way so
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, and I mean, then people just want to use it to get off jokes and all kinds of other stuff, which I mean, I'm generally fine with, but just be more reasonable about it.
Yeah. For today, yeah, it's just for practice today too. It's not even anything else. I mean, just standard for
Chuck
practice.
Norris has been hospitalized after a medical emergency in Hawaii.
Oh no,
Not setting up a Chuck Norris joke.
man.
Apparently, that's true. So,
Hopefully he's all right.
He's 6 years old now.
He's what?
He's 86.
Wow.
Which in like normal people years, he's like 27.
What is your favorite Chuck Norris joke? I know those things were like internet hit of 15 years ago, 20 years ago, but
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
I've got one that I always thought was funny. Well, I've got a couple. No, I've got like 3 of them. The more I think, the more I'm coming up with. How about this one? Did you know that giraffes were created when Chuck Norris uppercutted a horse?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Chuck Norris can kickstart a car, and Jesus can walk on water, but Chuck Norris can swim through land.
I like that one. That's a good one. I love it.
Oh man, those were great. We used to, for some reason, when I was teaching, we had, I don't know how it became a thing, but my kids would talk about it in class. My students would, and one of my students brought me a poster of Chuck Norris jokes that hung on my wall for a while in my classroom.
Nice.
It was that and a Dwight Schrute poster in my room.
Nice. That's perfect. That's all you really need, right?
It was great.
Shoot. All right, so we're at halftime in that Wisconsin High Point game. Louisville, South Florida, just getting restarted here out of the break. Got McNeese and Vanderbilt coming up, and Siena and Duke. So first tournament look, first probably only tournament run that we'll see out of Cam Boozer. I can't imagine he's coming back to school next year. So that'll
be feeling. Could he? Do you think he goes number one? Like, is that? Are we not talking about whether or not he could be the number one pick enough?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go number one. I think it'll be DeBonsa or Peterson. Mm-hmm. But I mean, maybe like there's a outside chance he could be the number one pick. There are teams that are very high on him. We were talking about it earlier that he is he's probably got the highest floor of the 3 of them. Because it's probably the safest guy that you could kind of just say, we get him, we have a 10-year player, and we're good. Where DeBonsa and Peterson, they have much more upside to them. But yeah.
Of the likely lottery teams, if you could place those 3 on any specific team, like that would be ideal for them, what teams would you pick for them?
It's a good question. Let me look at the standings.
And that means not like, we're not doing like, I don't know, OKC gets the Clippers pick and it winds up being 14th and it jumps all the way up. I mean, like the real
teams that are there right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I would like to see DeBonsa on the Pacers to give them that,
I like that
wing. That's they've got the center now in Zubac. You've got the forward in Siakam. You've got Halliburton. Put DeBonsa on the Pacers. Peterson on the Jazz to give them the guard
with Keontae George,
because their front court's already more than stuffed full. And then let's go with let's see. Trying to decide between. Give Boozer to Washington. It's rough on the Kings, but sorry. Give Boozer to Washington, and then they get a forward to go with Trae Young and their collection of guys. Davis.
Sacramento was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, Sacramento, honestly, they didn't take any one of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of need everything right now.
Yeah. Very much.
Right. I mean, if you're Sacramento, you can't even look at Sabonis or Levine, or you kind of have to just say these guys aren't the long-term fits for us. At some point we'll move on. Who's the most talented player we can draft and not worry about fit at all?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. 100%. SG Caden starting at point. So that's Caden Boozer. That's because Caleb Foster's out. He's out with an injury. So, and Patrick Gongba is probably out too. I believe I saw that today that he wasn't going to play. So we're Duke's going a little bit deeper into their bench here with some of their guys. But yeah, it's God, they ran a lot through Boozer and Evans in the ACC tournament after Foster got hurt. Diego Cardona, happy birthday to Diego Cardona's dad.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mr. Cardona. If that is
good day for a birthday.
Yeah.
A lot of sports on today.
Yeah, if he's got his feet up and a beverage in hand and is watching the NCAA tournament. All right, so we got 10 minutes till Duke Siena, so let's cover off on some of their guys here. Obviously, Duke loaded with potential NBA players. So you got Cameron Boozer, Caden Boozer. Cam Boozer's number 12. Caden Boozer's number 2. Caden's much more of a guard, smaller wing. Cam is a pure forward. Can play either forward spot. There you get Isaiah Evans. He's like a 2-3 wing, pretty good shooter. Malik Brown is going to get a lot of run with Gongba out. Dame Sarr is another player for them who's an interesting kind of wing. Nicholas Kamania. We'll see how much he plays. He's another prospect there. Foster and Gongba are both out. And then for Siena, keep an eye on Gavin Doty. This kid is a tough scoring guard for Siena. Can make a lot of plays. He's under a lot of pressure. He's going to have to go against a lot of different looks that Duke will throw at him. But the kid can play. He's a very, very interesting player.
Well, those are certainly names we'll keep an eye on here as we're getting ready for that one. Did you talk at all about our NBA TV experience?
No, I didn't. No.
That was a good time.
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble couldn't get my camera to connect this morning. So I got started like we were already running behind. So yeah, we did the warm up with John Fanta yesterday. Had a blast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got to jump around to a bunch of different teams. My only complaint is that we left like 4.5 minutes for the Lakers at the end. It was the biggest game of the night was Lakers Rockets, and we had like 4.5 minutes at the end to quickly run through that. But that was an absolute blast. That was so much fun. And I know we've got another one coming up in
next week.
A week?
Yeah, on Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yep.
Same thing. I think what happens there too, having watched the warm up quite a bit this year, if the game's not in the warm-up window, sometimes they don't even get to it at all. So that's why I'm there. But yeah, that was an interesting game last night. I mean, your Lakers are they are playing well, man. Playing some defense. That makes sense.
It sounded like tonight they might be getting some rest.
Yeah. That we were talking about that before you came on. That's a tough back-to-back.
Dave McMenamin said they didn't get in until after 4 a.m. And Keith, I've mentioned this like 4 times over the last 24 hours or so, and I can't recall for sure the rule, but I am pretty sure a 22.5-hour difference from tip-off one day to the next is the smallest amount of time allowed in the NBA, right? Or is it 22?
I think it's 22, but they do normally Miami games tip at 7:30. Yeah. So they definitely push this one back a half hour. But yeah, especially with the time change too, because you're going from central to east.
Right.
There. So yeah, not I mean, already not an easy back to back. It's all of it's made harder. So yeah, if they semi punt this one, I would not be necessarily surprised.
Yeah. And right now all 3 of their guys are questionable. Reeves, LeBron, Luka, all questionable right now. to play. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that was a crazy game last night. That was, a lot of back and forth. The Rockets kind of did what the Rockets have been doing in the fourth quarter. They really struggled there down the stretch, and that's where the Lakers took control. And I think there's one thing we're learning: don't talk trash to Luka. Just in general, it's not a good idea. It tends to get him going. We're at a point where Lakers fans are saying that the Lakers need to hire people for home games to talk trash to Luka. Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, this was fairly early in my doing more media stuff, was do you remember the jump before NBA today? They used one of my tweets from the night before. Damian Lillard, he was having a okay first half here in Orlando. And then in the second half, I think he scored 36 points and made everything and just dominated the game. Mm-hmm. And we asked him after, what was that all about? And he goes, that guy sitting courtside on the baseline was talking so much trash to me, I had to shut him up. And I tweeted that quote out, and the jump used it, and that was a lot of fun because a lot of people were like, "Hey, you were on the jump today."
That's cool.
So, but yeah, it's
whatever it takes and I took that personally, right? That's what you're looking for if you're a competitor out there.
Hey, learn that from MJ. Number 4 from Sienna, good, from Pablo here, that's Gavin Doty. He is a good player. With that, let's see. Why do teams having 15 to 25 point leads feel less valued now compared to say 15 years ago? 3-pointers.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Threes and pace. Yep.
Yeah.
Threes and pace have both gone way up, and so that's made leads less safe than they were previously. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. This one, are you considered working for a team or company if you're just covering a specific player? You're just covering Michael Jordan instead of the Bulls. Were there a lot of player only fans during the Jordan Bulls era? I don't think so.
No, not really, not back then. And I know there's a couple people who have done this. There was what's his name? He does the Dallas stuff now. Who he ran covered Miles Turner of all players for a little while, ran Miles Turner's website. He now he covers the whole NBA, but I would not want to cover just one player. How much can you get out of that, right? Even if it's MJ or it would have to be somebody who's constantly doing crazy stuff to get there. But
I would how much news do you really have on just one player? Even if it was LeBron or something, that'd be tough. That'd be tough.
Honestly, at this point in his career, which I think is very much intentional, LeBron's kind of boring off court now, right? He just kind of goes home. That's which is fine. It's not even a criticism.
No,
but that would be a very hard job to do.
Well, think about it though, right? Because I know years ago, I had a chance to go run one of the I think it was going to be Lonzo Wire or something when he first got drafted by the Lakers. It was going to be a news site that was dedicated to Lonzo. There was going to be another one for LeBron, another one for all these different.
I remember sites. And there's all out of USA Today, right?
Yeah, and I'm but what happens if the dude gets hurt? Julius Randle broke his leg his first game. What if that's your job? Is to cover that player, and the dude gets hurt and he's out the whole season. What if it was Gordon Hayward Wire or whatever? Then what do you do?
Hey, how's it going?
Nothing.
Leg still broken? Yep. All right. Talk to you tomorrow.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that is tough. People are covering Shohei Ohtani, but you have a daily. I know baseball doesn't play every day, but they play damn near every day.
Just about. Most teams play 6 games in a week. Yeah, exactly. 5 or 6 at least.
Yeah. Windhorst, yes and no, launched his career covering LeBron. Yes and no. He covered LeBron's teams. So he would still do other stories about those teams. It wasn't just about LeBron. But he was with LeBron covered him in high school, then with the Cavs, then moved to Miami to cover. Yeah, we're covering LeBron, but he also covered the Heat because he did a lot of good stories. Yeah, still going, D.A. Brax. We're going to be here for a while. Until I run a completely out of steam. And if you see me curled up here asleep on camera, you'll know I'm done.
I am gonna have to jump over to some other stuff shortly. I've got a Lakers collective thing I have to do in just a bit here because I've got some chat questions that I never got to. I've got a couple other things I have to do for Lakers Nation as well before the game, which is in somehow the Lakers play in 5 hours. I am just gonna go through all of my energy drinks at this point. I don't know how.
Get to load up on coffee, but you're not a big coffee guy, right?
No, I'm an energy drink guy more than coffee. I don't drink coffee.
I crushed. Maybe we'll get a sponsorship out of Diet Dr Pepper. I crushed one of those earlier because I try not to drink. I'm trying to stay off soda. It's helping me stay hydrated and better. So
those do nothing for me, like caffeine wise.
What's that?
I said those do nothing for me caffeine wise, the sodas and stuff. Now if it's a like I'll drink the zero sodas. I do like Coke Zero, Dr Pepper Zero, stuff like that. The caffeine in it isn't. I can drink that right before bed and be fine. Like a regular Coke or something has more caffeine in it. That'll get me a little bit, but otherwise the caffeine from the zeros, the diet stuff, doesn't seem to bother me much.
There are a couple of different versions of this do a collab Lakers Collective in front office.
I'm not doing it live on Lakers Collective. I have a video I have to record for that.
I also get enough with the one Laker fan. I don't need 3 of them coming at me.
Well, and it would be all Lakers questions in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was funny. Somebody said to me the other day, they were like, you should do the outsider perspective videos for Lakers Nation, where you just come in and crap on everything. And I was like, it's funny. The idea is funny. But the problem is I could do it like once for fun, but they're playing great right now. I couldn't make myself dump on them right now.
Well, and that's, I keep it very simple. Players playing well, we're going to talk about why they're playing well. Players playing poorly, we're going to talk about why they're playing poorly, right? Like that's it. There's no agenda beyond that. But this conversation, and we got the tip off now for the Duke Siena game. Yep. But this conversation was going on X the other day. People were talking about, the media, everybody's nice.
Duke starts it off by running a very tight alley-oop lob to just
very well done. That's great execution. But the conversation was, the media is out to get Luka, or the media is out to get player X, Y, or Z, and everybody's against this guy for clicks. And the point was brought up, well, no, like the views go up for positive things. That's true if the fans all want the team that you're covering or whatever to be good.
Yeah.
You can go negative with things. So like Keith, if you went negative on Lakers Nation, that wouldn't go up. Like people wouldn't watch it because that audience doesn't want negative.
Or they'd watch content. Right. And then they'd be like, oh, well, this was garbage.
But that's where like the national channels or sites or whatever, if they go negative, there's a lot of people who want negative stuff about the Lakers, and that's where that kind of stuff gains traction. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Howard Stern thing, right? Like,
yes,
the people who like him listen for an average of 3 minutes or whatever, and they're like, holy crap. And they're like, yeah, but the people who hate him listen for 8 minutes to listen to any one thing in the radio back then was like huge. That was like, oh my gosh, like that's like, sitting down and doing a 2-hour and 43-minute live show about the NCAA tournament. Like that's
Boozer just drained a 3. That concept is why so much of the political commentary now is, if you're on the right, it's can you believe this thing the left just did? And if you're on the left, it's the other way. Can you believe this thing on the right just did? Right? That's so much of the political commentary out there now. And the same thing happens on the national level with sports. Hey, here's something to be mad about, and then get everybody all riled up, and it's just the rage bait stuff. That doesn't really work when the people you're talking to want the thing you're talking about to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Louisville has opened up a 23-point lead on South Florida. We're approaching halfway through the second half there. They are absolutely rolling. And then a high point in Wisconsin, going back and forth. Wisconsin's up 50-46. Just early in the second half with that one. But that would be a major upset. That's a 12-5 upset if High Point can pull this off. So
A-
we'll keep our eyes on that one.
And Duke is up 10-6 right now
Yeah.
over Siena.
Yep. Gavin Doty hit a 3-pointer, I believe. If Siena's going to have any chance, he's going to have to go for like 25, 30, 35, 40 points, somewhere in that range to have any kind of chance in this one. Cam Boozer's hit a triple. Isaiah Evans has already hit a 3 for Duke. Caden Boozer has a bucket. Malik Brown had that alley-oop early on. So Duke is, they're as long as they stay focused, this should be over relatively quickly.
Yeah. Question for Trev, Keith, if it qualifies here. If you do commentary live on YouTube versus doing it live, if you're a commentator live at the stadium for a network, is there a difference? Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
And well, a few big. First of all, it's much more informal, right?
Yeah.
Doing it on YouTube. Whereas if I'm a commentator live, I'm probably working for the team, and so I have to make sure that what I'm not saying anything over the top about the team or anything like that. Like some of the things I say when I'm live for Lakers Nation is going to be very different than what I would say if I were covering them for the team. I'm not going to be as negative about stuff, or I'm not going to criticize players nearly as much in that type of situation because you're working for the team. They sign your paychecks, right? Like that's part of that. You're also presenting to a different audience where I know people that are watching on YouTube are mostly locked in diehard fans. I'm not going to spend as much time talking about some of the like basic stuff of basketball, of the Lakers, right? Some of that stuff is stuff that the vast majority of the audience already knows. If they're watching us on YouTube, they're following Lakers Nation. But the biggest difference is it's interactive. Just you asking that question right now is the biggest difference. Whereas if you're just doing commentary for play-by-play or whatever for a game, there is no interaction. I don't know how the audience is responding. If I say something, I make a joke or something like that, I'm immediately getting feedback from the audience about whether that was the dumbest thing anyone has ever said, whether that was hilarious, whether they agree with the analysis, they hate it, they throw in stuff, comments, and there's a back and forth to it. That is the biggest difference between the two.
Yeah, I think when we've called a couple games for the NBA, we're not in the stadium, but that's a little bit more like being in the stadium, and we're covering teams we're not watching every single game of, so we're getting up to speed on them. And I would say one of the differences is you have a producer in your ear kind of feeding you stuff. They're telling you things. When we're doing this, or like I know you do this for the Lakers every night, it's just us. Like it's just us sitting here talking, and you can do that. But when you're doing but when you're calling a game, they're feeding you stuff. They're like, hey, we're going to come to you with this stat, or we're going to come with this highlight, or we're going to do that. And honestly, that takes some getting used to, because you're in the middle of talking and saying something while they're telling you something different in your ear. I don't know how anybody could do this if you can't multitask.
That is very challenging. It's very cool though, too. It's very cool to feel like you're part of a team. You've got a team working behind you to give you the best information, give you all kinds of stuff. That part was definitely cool when we were doing those strategy streams or whatever for League Pass. That was very cool. But you're right, like, hey, so for example, like we're talking and we're going, okay, like what was the game we did? Didn't we do Pels Nets? Yeah, that was it. It was Pels Nets. And so we're doing, I know I wasn't playing for this game, but DeJounte Murray's coming down the floor and he's getting ready to spot up and shoot a 3. And you're doing the play-by-play. Okay, here comes the screen, navigating the pick and roll. DeJounte Murray for 3. And as you're saying that, you're hearing 10 seconds till break. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. And that's as you're talking. So you're trying to, DeJounte Murray hits the 3 and timeout Nets. The Pelicans on a big run, right? Something like that. And you got to make sure you end your sentence right on time, right as they're going into the break. It's a very different experience.
Well, and they were also, remember that one was 1-2 where they were like, hey, so remember now we're going to talk about all-star voting. And, and it's like, okay, like, and they're telling you that while you're, talking about the game. Then it's like, hey guys, we need, who do you think were the best players of the game and all that stuff. It's awesome. This is neither one of us is complaining. It's just a completely different.
It's different.
Yeah, and this is completely informal. This is just us on our channel doing our thing. Now, the goal is, do you still have a great experience, right? As the viewer, the listener, but the interactive part of what we do here is, that's a big part of it. I mean, that's honestly, guys, that's why we do the Friday front office Friday shows, because it's that interaction. And peek behind the curtain, it completely started, and I've said this before, so apologies if you've heard this already. We had a Friday when we started doing those, we're like, there's like nothing going on, right, guy? Let's just do a mailbag live show. We'll throw it out to people and see what people say. And it went so well, they're like, let's do that again. And then it became people like, can you do this every Friday? And we're like, oh yeah, let's just do it. And then it's, kind of probably become, for this show, like the signature show that we do each week is that. So, and it is fun. Like, I've gotten this because like sports business classroom. People like yelling front office Friday and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun.
I had what happened? I compared DeAndre. Somehow I made the analogy of comparing DeAndre Ayton's game to Home Alone, in that he's always better at the end of the game, just like the final act of Home Alone was by far the best. You know what I mean? He's the way he plays lately has been, he's been big in the fourth quarter, kind of like some movies are really great. Like, it's an okay movie and then it's a great final act, and that's like Home Alone. I compared it to Home Alone, and one of the first comments was, fire the Kevin cannon. It's funny little things that have caught on.
Yeah, it's great. We got to, so Trevor, before you came on, I was talking about coaches talking about pulling off upsets in the tournament, like coaches who've been like major underdogs. And one of the things I was saying, when Holy Cross almost beat, they almost knocked off Kentucky years ago. This was when Tayshaun Prince still played for Kentucky. So that's how long ago this was. Ralph Willard, the Holy Cross coach, the next year when Holy Cross was in the tournament, they're like, you almost beat Kentucky. How did you guys pull that off? And I told my guys, we're going to play, because right in college basketball, there's a timeout at every 4-minute mark on the next stoppage. And he said, we're going to play a series of 4-minute games, be ahead or tied at the end of every 4-minute game we play, and we'll be in great shape to win the game. And just while I'm saying that, Siena just played a 4-minute game and was ahead of Duke before these couple of free throws Duke just hit. So that's how you play. That's how you play off to get the upset.
Yep. Now they got to win the next 4 minutes. Now, much easier said than done. But
we got Vanderbilt and McNeese coming up here in about 4 minutes. They will play the winner, or not the winner, which was Nebraska. So that'll be there in a potential 4 or 5 matchup if Vanderbilt can pull it off. But beware the 12 seed. Every year we get some 12 seeds that pull off upsets every year. We got a super chat. We appreciate it, from More not an NCAA question, but I need the Lakers to stay far, far away from Tari Eason this offseason. Let Houston or some other team take him.
He's had a rough go shooting the basketball for the last few months.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's heavily influenced by recent events over the last 2 of the last 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pulling up his game log. So Tari Eason, and Rockets fans know this all too well, he is shooting for the month of March 3.6% from 3.
What?
Seriously.
Oh my God.
3.6%. He has not made a 3 since March 5th. He has missed
crazy.
8, 12, 15, 18, 21 straight threes he's missed. Well, and I don't even know how many he missed. It may be more than that, because he was 1 for 5 in the game I'm not counting against Golden State. And maybe he made the first one and missed the next 4. So he's like on a real run here of just absolute futility behind the arc. He made 31.6% the month before that. But in January, he shot 47% from 3, 42% in December, 50% in November, 53% in October. This is a brutal shooting slump for Tari Eason.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a slump. Well, get it out of the way now before the playoffs, I guess. This is what you got to
Man,
be thinking about here. Um,
that's unbelievable.
yeah, as far as stay away from him, he's a restricted free agent too, so that's a you're going to tie up money because clearly Houston's not going to be rushing to give you an answer. They're going to take that full day, but it's more than a day because Easton's a guy you're going to have to agree with like during the negotiating period. So now you're stuck not knowing exactly what's going to happen on if Houston's going to match. If the late, I've said this multiple times on Front Off Show. I think I said it when I came on with you on Lakers Nation. The Lakers are going after restricted free agents. You're better off trying to turn it into some form of sign-in trade.
Yeah.
Where you know the deal is done and it just gets done other than just get stuck in restricted free agency.
So is Tari Houston now worse than Shaq and Barkley at 3-pointers? Is Vando like I would assume, without having the numbers in front of me, I would assume that there is no one in the NBA on that volume shooting as poorly from three right now as Tari.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. But like you said before that, he was
great,
lights out. So yeah, that's just not
that is one of the worst shooting
yeah.
slumps we've like. Contavious Caldwell-Pope would go through awful slumps for months at a time, but that would mean he would shoot like 27% or something, not 3% like this.
Sorry, I'm just watching. Sienna's still up on Duke.
They're hanging right in there right now.
Yeah. See, Doty's got 5 points. Francis Folafak. I hope I didn't just say something awful in another language. He's got 7 points really for Siena. Cam Boozer's got 6 for Duke. All 5 starters have scored for Duke already.
So that's good distribution there.
Yeah.
Oh, that may have been a charge.
Yeah, it was close. It was definitely close. Wisconsin and High Point are tied at 58. We're in the under 12 timeout. We've got 11 minutes to go in that one. So that's that we might have an upset going there with it. What we're gonna do here. I know you've got other stuff to do. I'm gonna stay with you guys through the High Point Wisconsin game, and then I'll come back at some point after because I've got to go. I have to go get the dogs out and stuff because I'm the only one home right now.
So you are the one that lets the dogs out.
Yep. Woof, 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 woof. Yes. Yeah. They're. Yeah. My. Yeah. But I still win because my wife and daughter are helping my mother-in-law move furniture.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd much rather let the dogs.
But
out.
I have to work. I mean, it's tough. But somebody has to watch all these markets.
Somebody has to sit around all day and watch college basketball, right?
Yeah. If I don't do it, I don't know who's going to watch this. Thing.
Big 3 from Siena.
Yeah.
Where would this rank in all-time upsets of Siena?
We talked about that earlier, right up there. We've had 2 16 seeds have won. UMBC and Fairleigh Dickinson. UMBC beat Virginia. Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue. But this would be a pretty high level. This would undoubtedly be everyone's favorite one ever because so many people don't like Duke. So yeah. But it would be way up there. Got a long way to go yet. Though.
Long way to go. Yeah, it's still
extremely there it is though. You can't have the upset unless you're hitting threes.
Yep.
Just knocked in another one.
Timeout Duke, 22-16. Siena fans are saying somebody kick the cord out of the wall right now.
Right?
Unplug this game. It's over.
Yeah. Well, what did I say? You just got to win those 4-minute games. Just win your 4-minute games.
All right. I should jump over and get a few other things done.
All right. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us.
I'm sorry I was so late getting in here.
Yeah, it's all good. I didn't know if I was expecting to see you at all today. So
I went on. I had no idea you were, and I don't know why I didn't get a notification on my phone or anything.
Well, and it's funny because I have you as live too because I think it was already checked.
So after somebody told me after I finished the show, I went onto my Twitter and I was like, I am live. What the hell?
Well, it was very funny because everybody's like, Trevor's live right now. And I was like, And then I looked and seen the injury report had come out. I was like, oh, I bet he's doing that.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not I should do a full game preview show, and then when that came out, I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm like, I
Yeah, it
want
made
to
you
set
just
up the full thing. I'll do it from my phone. I'll do a quick live. Hey, here's the injury report heading into tonight's game, and that's that." And
quick funny story. So my buddy Corey, he used to cover the Orlando Magic, and he wrote, it was the last day of old Orlando Summer League, and he worked for the SB Nation site covering the Magic. I worked for, obviously, Celtics blog covering the Celtics, but we both worked for SB Nation. And SB Nation wanted recaps of like the Summer League games.
Mm-hmm.
Last day of Summer League, not even like, we're talking like guys who had like no real chance of like making training camp or anything. Main players were shut down and all this stuff. Teams had already left because guys had gotten overseas jobs and everything. His recap read things like, the Magic played today. They had some basketball plays. There were dunks. Dunks are cool. There were some 3-pointers as well. They're worth 1 point more than a 2-point basket. There are also free throws. Those are only worth 1. And then eventually he's like, all right, more seriously, here's what happened. Because it was like anybody even knew was playing. But it was really funny. So
that's funny.
I was like, there's your game preview. Is someone will play for the Lakers.
The Lakers will play basketball today. I'm confident
5 guys will show up in purple. How
the
it goes
Lakers
from there,
will play basketball. And they may not be wearing purple because I know you can look at the NBA, what is it, the locker room site or whatever.
Yeah, Locker Vision or something.
Locker Vision, that's it. That will tell you, what jersey they're wearing. But I wish they would stick with, they are. Yep, they're doing it. They're wearing gold on the road tonight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hate that.
Yeah. That's how we know we're old, my friend.
Yep.
I just want the white jerseys at home and the green jerseys on the road.
That's it. All right. I will be
get to work.
Yeah, I'll be working on some other stuff, but this was fun.
Yeah.
And
we're having fun. We're hanging out, guys. It's been a blast. So
yep.
I'm still going to be here with you guys. Okay. Thanks, Trevor.
All right, I'll see you.
So I'll still be here with you guys for a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to stay through the Wisconsin High Point game unless it gets out of hand. Then I've got to step away for a couple minutes. South Florida trying to make a little run here on Louisville. They've closed it down to 11. That game was a little bit of a blowout early, but yeah, Siena, man, they're working. They're up 22-16 on Duke. So a little early yet, but let's see. How would that? Yeah, Hawaii in here. Let's go. Hawaii, Arkansas. It's funny. I would have pulled for Hawaii in any game, except I have an irrational love for Darius Acuff. So I'm going to be pulling for Arkansas on that one. But we'll see. With this one, but the Rainbow Warriors, right? My daughter, she got very enamored by that nickname when she was filling out her bracket today because she doesn't really know much about any of these teams. She kind of has some sense of who's kind of good with all that. She filled it out based on which colleges have been sending her the most mail lately because she's in that phase of life here where it's there. So so let's see. We got McNeese is up 8-5 on Vanderbilt. That one's just getting going. We're only a few minutes into that game. And then Louisville, they got a bucket, so they're maybe another bucket from South Florida, though. So they're battling. They're trying to make it a game there in that one. And then Wisconsin's up 66-61 on High Point. Siena up 22-16 on Duke. Almost halfway through the first half. So Siena playing better than I think anybody thought they would. So we've had fun. Been a fun morning. We said TCU, OSU came right down to the very end. And then Nebraska, first ever NCAA tournament win for the program. So which is huge. A lot of fun. Let's see. Do we get any more questions coming through here? No. All right, guys. Make sure you're hitting a like on there. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, Front Office Friday tomorrow. That's our interactive fan first show on Friday, where it is all of your questions and everything. We have a blast doing those Front Office Friday shows. We do those, and then other than that, it's Trevor and I recorded shows throughout the rest of the week, breaking down all the latest news and notes all around the NBA. Every team covered there, especially when we get into transaction season. We'll be getting ready to start some off-season stuff soon too, with the regular season wrapping up and coming to an end here. That means that half the league's going to be out here pretty soon, so we'll be getting into all that stuff too, and obviously talking playoffs and everything else. So we'll see how that all comes together. Let's see. So we talked. Let's do the Vanderbilt McNeese players to watch, even though that one's already going. We hadn't done that yet. Vanderbilt best player Tyler Tanner. He's a point guard. He's in the mix to be potentially late first-round pick. He's a guy, because of the depth of the point guard group in this class, wouldn't be shocked if he returned to school. He's very small, too. He's only about 6 feet tall. So interesting there. A.K. Okirike, Tyler Nickel, and Devin McLaughlin are the other players to know for Vanderbilt. A bunch of forwards in that mix there. And then Larry Johnson, for McNeese, number 6, he's their player to know on the McNeese side with that one. So we've got some Vanderbilt guys, including Tyler Tanner, who is a pretty tough player. I mean, he's won a lot of people over, a lot of people who are a little unsure because he's a small guard. He has really done some stuff because he's really, really tough. He really gets after it for Vanderbilt. So he's a lot of fun. So you can check him out as you go. And then Larry Johnson, the guy to know for McNeese. Siena is now up 10 on the Blue Devils. So Siena just out here taking it to Duke in the first half. We're about to go under 10 minutes here, and Siena is really, really playing well for them. So it's Duke is struggling a little bit to hit their own shots, and Siena's playing great. Duke with a turnover. So Siena, it's early. It's early. We're not putting it on upset watch yet, but they're battling. They are absolutely battling there. Wisconsin in High Point. Wisconsin up 68-61 in that one. We have about 7.5 minutes to go. High Point taking some free throws here. So that's definitely upset alert. High Point, the 12 seed, Wisconsin, the 5 seed. So we're definitely an upset alert there. Louisville just trying to bleed the rest of this clock out. They're up 11 on South Florida. Oh, big time 3-pointer from Louisville. So Louisville now up 14 there. They're probably going to get that one done. McNeese is up early on Vanderbilt, 12-5. So, that's a interesting one here. A lot of scrambling going around in that game there. So, see with Duke, 26-16. Duke down to Siena here early. Wisconsin scores again. They're back up by 8 now on High Point. And Siena scores again. They're not going away. Making plays. Duke's starting to defend their perimeter stuff a little bit better. So the Blue Devils got to pick it up scoring themselves, though. They've only got 18 points. Looks like Boozer's headed to the line, but they're down 10 with about 8 minutes to play in the first half. So let's keep an eye on that one. Let's take a look at that Wisconsin High Point box score. 70-62. Wisconsin is leading. Let's see. High Point, Terry Anderson with 10 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Rob Martin is the leading scorer for High Point with 21 points. And then we have John Blackwell, 22 points for Wisconsin. Nick Boyd with 17. That's their two guards. Those are their two of their better players. And then Nolan Winter has 6 points off the bench. He's their big center coming off the bench in that one. So still close there, 70-62 with 6.5 minutes to go. Boozer looked like he knocked down both free throws. So now he has got Duke back to within 8 of Saanich, 28-20. Siena leading. Cam Boozer's got 9. For the Blue Devils to lead the way, 6 for 6 at the free throw line. Francis Folifak. Folifak? I'm not sure. I'd have to listen to it. I can't turn the volume on right now. Oh, there. No, UMass was not anywhere close. That was a conference tournament game. So how it works with the NCAA is each team plays in a conference tournament. The winner of the conference tournament, there are 34, I think, conferences. Whoever wins the conference tournament gets the automatic bid in, and then there's 34 at-large teams. The 34 at-large teams are the teams that they have a committee and they pick the best teams that didn't win their conference tournaments to go to the tournament. So in the case of UMass was like just above 500, so they were nowhere close to making the tournament. They just upset Miami, Ohio in the conference tournament. With that one, how do you manage to go live without having to use profanity off? Yeah, it can be hard because it's funny. People are like, man, you and Trevor, you guys like never swear or anything, but you guys are getting a very clean version of us. Not that like we're like running around cussing like kids who learned a swear word for the first time, but like we, like there's definitely some of that in my let's call it regular vocabulary, and every once in a while it'll slip out on a show. We try to keep it clean because a couple things. We're both parents and we know the value of having it be clean. If you got kids in the car, just family around. We have a lot of people who tell us that they, will throw us on while they're cooking dinner and stuff. So we assume the family's around and the like. So you want to keep it a little bit cleaner and a little bit better there. And there's also you can start getting your videos flagged and the like for things if you do too much of that. So we try to keep it much cleaner on this. But it's funny in our non-recorded or non-live conversations, you'll get a little different of a sense. And it's funny because my friends who are like my real life friends will laugh things here that they will laugh. They're like, man, you're not like that at all. That's not how you talk at all. So did I go to BSU? Yeah, but I went there when it was BSC, when it was still Bridgewater State College. That's how long ago I was there. But yeah, that's the alma mater. That's where my degree is from, but I also did a bunch of stuff at Boston College too. So if I know nobody knows Bridgewater State, I'll just say I went to BC just because it makes it easier. But I did some work and then I got a post-grad degree out of BC as well. So, but yeah, BC and BSC back in the day, but now BSU. Yeah, go Bears. I mean, I'd love to see them in here, but they're Division III schools. So, the D3, no scholarships. They do have an NCAA tournament, Division III tournament, but it's good luck finding on TV. How many NBA players do you think could single-handedly lead a 16 seed to a national championship? Probably not that many. I mean, you're talking about winning 6 games. With just them like kind of doing everything, it'd be tough. Because even sometimes when we see some of the very best guys, like for example, Cooper Flagg, Duke didn't win the title last year, and he was awesome with that. So, I don't know. We'll see with that. So, okay, let's see. We got High Point. Oh, that's a bomb from the logo. 70-65. Yeah, I know it popped up on the screen here as a little check-in, so we're gonna close that out. But what a bomb that was! Hit that from deep in the logo. All right, High Point with the ball again. Another three. Oh, rims out off the corner three. Oh, we get a little. What do we have? A tie up here? Looks like everybody's all right. I'm just gonna move on and play ball. Siena up 31-22 on Duke with just under 7.5 to play in the first half. McNeese is up on Vanderbilt. South Florida, they've cut it to 9. They haven't been able to get it much under 9 though against Louisville. So I'm gonna head up to front office for the Seattle team. Yeah, I wish. That'd be great. I don't think I would head them up. I'd be content to just be a part of it. It's funny. I had a very vivid dream in my life years ago that I was working for an NBA team in Seattle. And it was, since then I've always kind of laughed. And so that's what I'd like to do. But yeah, I don't know that I'd be heading up any front office. I don't know that I'm a fit for that, but I would love to be a part of it. I've done a lot of work on expansion drafts, and obviously I would be happy to do some stuff with the Cap, but it's they don't even have a team yet, so no one's asked me to do anything. I'm gonna stay here in the quad box because I would switch out, but Siena and Duke has been something else, and here we are. Wisconsin's up 4. High Point with the layup cuts it to 2. And we got, what do we got? We got about 3.5 minutes to go in that game. Wisconsin is up 72-70. So we got a absolute battle coming. Looks like we're stuck again on another game. I wonder what's going on with these score lines here. Come on, NCAA. This is your official site. You got to keep it tight here. There we go, 72-70. Now we're all caught up. Siena scored again. Siena's up 11 now on Duke. The lead grows for the Siena Saints. Boozer for 3, off the front of the rim. Duke offensive rebound, resets. Another 3 missed by Duke. Siena with the rebound. Doty's got it going now. He's up to 10 points for Siena. He is the guard with the ball in his hands right now, number 4. He just passed it off to the post up. And a foul on the Blue Devils. Let's get into this Wisconsin High Point box score because this one's coming down to it. Like I said before, Terry Anderson has been picking it up. He's up to 15 points and 11 rebounds now. Cameron Fletcher's got 11 points and 10 rebounds. Rob Martin, 21 points. And Owen Aquino with 11 points. They're 12 for 36 on threes. That's why they're in this one, because Wisconsin's got them beat in most of the other stats, but the threes have kept High Point. And you can't have an upset without the threes. That's a firm belief I have. You're going to have to knock down your 3-pointers if you want to make a upset. There it is. Yeah, you got to win those 4-minute games. For Siena. Siena's won, we're in like 3 of these 4-minute games that they've won now. And that one's off. And here comes Duke the other way, down 11, right to the bucket. I think that was Caden Boozer there. So you can see a time when Duke can get out in transition. Their athleticism's too much for Siena, but when they're being forced to play in the half court, Siena's defending well and playing slow, and that's where they want to go. Yeah, that logo 3 from Chase Johnston from High Point, that was a bomb. That's the shot of the tournament so far. I mean, that thing was way out there. He shot that from like the M in March Madness, as all the courts have the same logo. Yeah, it was Caden Boozer. You can see and I couldn't set the defense. He attacked and transition, get all the way downhill for the easy layup. We're coming back. Wisconsin, High Point, 3:34 to go. The Badgers are up 73-70. They are 74-70. Makes both free throws. So they are up there, and then they'll go up, and we'll see what High Point's got here to coming back the other way. Why do role players and average players make better coaches than legend players? I can only go off what and he was actually a pretty good coach, but it was when they talked to Larry Bird. Johnson just hit another 3 for High Point. So this is a 1-point game now, coming up on 3 minutes to play. Larry Bird said he had such high standards that he knew it would be really hard, if not impossible, to hold everybody to the same standards he held himself to, but he knew he wouldn't be able to not do it if he was a coach. So that was also why he only lasted a few years as a coach. So that's I can only go off of that. I mean, I think that's probably a big part of it. I think those guys find it hard. All right, Wisconsin up 3 after a layup. It's about 2.5 minutes to go. High Point ties it with another 3-pointer. All right, we got a game now. We're in this thing. 78 all. Or excuse me, 76 all. Wisconsin with the layup. Go up 78, 76. High Point right back at them. Lay up their own. Oh, that could have been an and one, too. No and one given. And we are end to end right now. Wisconsin right back at them with another layup. So neither team really locking in on defense here on the last couple of possessions, letting guys get straight to the rim off made baskets, too. Trevor had some Lakers stuff to do, so he had to step out to get some of that stuff done. We'll see if he comes back. Yeah, it's definitely an upset if a 12 beats a 5. And usually get one of those most years, but it's still an upset. I think it's anything 11 and below is an upset. I don't think a 10 beating a 7 is much of an upset. 9 beating an 8 is not an upset, but anything in the first round, 11 and below, yeah, that's definitely an upset. So 12-5 would certainly qualify. All right, High Point missed. Wisconsin's got the ball here, so we're gonna watch them take it probably right down to almost a minute to play. And bucket for Wisconsin. So they're up 4 now. So let's see if High Point's got one more little rally in them. Wisconsin cutting off the lane. So catch and shoot 3 from High Point. 82-81. Under a minute to play. Johnston again. He's got 12 points, all on 3-pointers, 4 or 6 shooting threes, and the High Point fans are going absolutely bananas. So Wisconsin's got some work to do. We get some guys just like Fred Flintstone out there. I don't know what that's all about. Good for them. Let's see. That one went in the timeout. Wisconsin took a timeout. So we got Duke and Siena and a foul. Siena's going to the line. They're up 35-28 with just over 3 minutes to go in the first half. So we're going to keep a close eye on that one and see where that goes with this. So. All right, 82-81. Wisconsin just took a timeout. 55 seconds left. Wisconsin and High Point. Let's see, around the other games. Louisville up 6 on South Florida. So South Florida not going away. 78-72, about a minute and a half to go in that one in the game. First half, Siena's up now 37-28 on Duke as they knocked down a couple of free throws. So 9-point lead with 3 minutes to go for Siena. And McNeese is up 9 on Vanderbilt, 24-15. So we get upset alerts going on all over here. The lower seeds are either ahead or in it in all of these games. Man, what a bomb that was from Johnston on that one. A little flare screen lets it fly. Little pitch out, let it fly. I mean, he is knocking these shots down. So let's see. It's going to be Wisconsin's ball with 55 seconds to play, up 1. So they can take it down to less than the shot clock to go. Shot clock in college basketball 30, 30-second shot clock here. We're getting a review. High Point has challenged the play. So we're getting a review in that game. Siena just scored again. Or excuse me, Duke. Well, Siena scored, but then Duke scored to cut it back to 9. But Siena with the ball. We're coming up on a minute and a half to go. Nice backdoor cut. And a layup, no foul, but a layup by Siena. Siena back up 11. So they are very likely going into that barn, major collapse. They're going to go into halftime with the lead. They would like that to be a double-digit lead if they can get there. So, almost turned over by Duke. Boozer with the short pull-up, and he missed. Siena with the ball, a little over a minute to play. And Siena calls one of their timeouts here to end. They're going to get a play drawn up here. Looks like High Point says this ball was off Wisconsin on the inbound. They're applying full court pressure. So we're going to see what the result of that review is. They called it off of High Point. So that's really close. Let's see. All right, guys, keeping an eye on. We got a bunch of stuff happening here. This is fun. This is when it gets really fun. We've got you've got Louisville up by 6 over South Florida. McNeese is up 8 on Vanderbilt about midway through the first half. Siena's up 11 on Duke. That is huge news here late in the first half. And then Wisconsin High Point. We've got a review going on here, and let's see. The call is reversed. High Point wins the challenge. So it's going to be High Point ball with about 54.6 seconds left. Down 1. High Point getting it, the 12th seed against the 5 seed Wisconsin Badgers. This is a major upset brewing here if High Point can pull this off. We've got, this is going to be a big time, moment here. They've got the ball coming out. Little pick and roll and foul on Wisconsin, or just out of bounds? Just out of bounds. Bounced off the Louisville player's leg. He goes out of bounds. So High Point, ball back. Making the move in the post. Oh, a little too strong off the window. Wisconsin down with it. Wisconsin. There's about a 12 second difference between shot and game clock. So let's see what happens here. Wisconsin's going to run this thing all the way down and take their shot here. They're up by 1. Wisconsin nursing a 1-point lead. Here's Nick Boyd. Drives and tries to go up and under. Ball's loose. High Point throws it out on the run ahead. Layup for High Point. They go up by 1 with 11.2 to play. Timeout, Wisconsin. High Point was able to corral that, and they got a leak out and got a bucket going the other way to take a 1-point lead with 11.2 seconds left. Duke just badly missed a 3, and Siena is still up 11, and a 3 on the way. They miss. Duke with the he's out of bounds. Man, what a run out. What a pass, too. After the rebound scramble, the guard got it and flipped it ahead. I think that was Johnson who got the run out there and just flips it in there ahead of the defense. Big time play for High Point. They're up by 1. Duke is down 11 with 36 seconds to play in the first half. So Duke is Siena's definitely going into halftime with the lead. We'll see how big of a lead that's going to be. Louisville trying to put this game away at the free throw line and just keeps missing free throws, giving South Florida a little bit of life here. South Florida down 5, 79-74 with about 22 seconds to play. So let's see. We're going to go full screen for High Point, Wisconsin, because this is probably going to be the final play of the game here. Boyd, blocked. High Point blocked the shot on the drive, and High Point is going to go to the free throw line with 1.6 seconds left to play. So we may have our first major upset here of the tournament. We're going to see, with this one. I think this is going to be a monster, thing here. We could have our first big-time upset brewing here. Siena goes into the half, up 11 on the Duke Blue Devils. McNeese is up on Vanderbilt by 6 late in the first half. About 7 minutes to go. 6-7. There we go. Got that in there. Louisville is up 81-74 on South Florida. Looks like they're going to close that one out. Fun note here. Let me see. So Chase Johnston, senior, comes off the bench for High Point. He, on the year, has made 64 of 132 three-point shots. He has not made a two-pointer all season long until that potential game winner that he made for High Point there moments ago. All right, guys, we got, 1.8 seconds. So now they've lowered it down to 1.4 seconds left here for Wisconsin. They're going to have the ball. Louisville's down 5 with 10 seconds left. Louisville's up now 6 with 10 seconds left. They're shooting free throws on South Florida. Vandy has cut it to 3. And then we have the Siena is up on Duke. So let's see. We got 1.8 seconds left. Remember, no advance in college basketball. So they're gonna take this one out on the baseline. Wisconsin does. So this is gonna have to be an absolute miracle shot here if the Badgers are gonna win. Throws it the length. And it's picked off at High Point. Pulls off the upset, 83-82. There's your 12 seed advancing. We get one just about every year. A 12 seed knocks off a 5. Major upset here for High Point. They are They take it over Wisconsin and finish this one off there. So an incredible game. With this one where High Point, blows out the Badgers and takes them down. That's our first big upset here in the NCAA tournament. 83-82 High Point. Chase Johnston with the game winner on a leak out here. We're going to see the end play here where High Point picked off the full length pass here to upset the game, win it. So monster upset by High Point. Chase Johnston with the run out layup. It was a leak out off the scramble. We got the big rebound guard, flipped it ahead to Johnston, lays it in. His only made 2-pointer of this season for Chase Johnston. Just an unbelievable run here for High Point to upset Wisconsin. And down go the Badgers, down go probably a whole lot of perfect brackets. We get a lot of people fired up here. All right, guys, I'm going to check out for a little bit. I'm going to go watch these games here. I'll come back. If it's super close, super tight down the stretch in Duke Siena, I'll come back and go live again. Thanks for hanging out with me. We went live 3.5 hours here today. We had an absolute blast, and we'll figure it out the rest of the way, what the rest of the night looks like. We might be back live a little bit later, but we had a lot of fun so far today with this one. Let's see if Siena can hold off Duke. That'd be an absolute monumental finish. That one is close. We'll come back and we'll finish out the game with y'all. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all later.